My 13-year-old acts like a puppy again. Almost overnight, she's a different dog.
Perfect poops.
When people switch their dog's food to the farmer's dog, the effects can seem like magic. But there's no magic involved. It's simply real meat and vegetables with all the nutrients dogs need, instead of highly processed pellets. No tricks, just smarter, healthier pet food delivered in packs portioned for your dog. It's amazing what real food can do. Get 50% off your first order at thefarmersdog.com/no-magic.
From executive producer Jimmy Kimmel.
What's up, team? Just two people can't launch a brand. It takes a village.
We are MMD Hollywood.
Wowee.
Which stands for medical marijuana.
Due to restrictions, we can't tell you everything about our new reality series. But what we can say is the idea behind it is fully baked.
I don't know.
High Hopes. Streaming 4/20 on Hulu.
Listening to your favorite podcast? That's smart. Earning your degree online from Southern New Hampshire University? That's really smart. With 24/7 access to coursework, no set class times, and dedicated student support, you can go to school when and where it works for you. Low online tuition means you can even do it for less. And dedicated student support means we'll be with you from day one to graduation and beyond. Join a community of learners just like you. Go to snhu.edu today to start your free application.
What's up? It's your boy, The Ted Smith from The Men's Room. And did you know I have a podcast? Well, I do. The Podcast. New episodes uploaded every Wednesday on the Odyssey app.
Unfortunately, what you're about to hear is real. The members of this radio program are simply not that bright, or what some people would call educated. They are merely stupid. They're not trying to offend anyone on purpose. And all have played doctors on TV. You have been warned and are cordially invited to join the party. This is the Men's Room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. You know what they say, shake your radio more than 3 times, and you're playing with it. You're listening to the Men's Room.
And away we go. Welcome to season 19, episode number 4064. Along with Steve the Thrill Hill, the Ted Smith, and Mike Hawk. Montgomery! And you are the Men's Room. On tap today, the return of Who Sucks Less. We will play Profile This, plus headlines, the Men's Room Shot of the Day, fun with listener emails, and everyone's favorite, TV Time with Ted.
Clack.
Diggity dong. All right, here we go. Russian gets drunk and rides a horse up 5 floors because he made his wife mad. Meanwhile, a cheesemaker pleads guilty to a listeria outbreak that made some tummies feel bad. Police in Bellingham nab a beaver that kept blocking the road. A woman tries to see if her car could drive in amphibian mode. And a woman smokes some weed, takes off her clothes, then goes to the library. That is all coming on today's very special episode of The Men's Room.
And now, here's the question.
Hola, bitches. Good day to you and yours. All right, I have a few would you rather questions for you today. All right? Would you rather get arrested because you got drunk and let a 12-year-old kid drive you home, or would you rather drive yourself drunk with your 12-year-old son in the trunk? An Indiana woman, she chose the former, having her 12-year-old nephew drive her home. A mom in Georgia, well, she chose the latter, driving drunk with her 12-year-old son in the trunk. By the way, there's no right answer because both of them were arrested. So let's move on. Would you rather find a stranger hiding in your back seat as you're driving home from Walmart, or would you rather fall asleep in the back seat of your car and wake up to find a stranger driving it? Not that anyone chose an answer to this one, but a woman in South Dakota discovered a stranger in her back seat while she was driving. Meanwhile, a woman in Wisconsin, she woke up in her back seat, and a man she didn't know was driving the car. Did not know where she was going. So that covers the stranger things. Okay, finally. Would you rather unexpectedly find a stranger in your car or discover that you've been driving with a rattlesnake in your car for the last 2 weeks? Well, in this case, a woman in Phoenix, she discovered she had in fact been driving with a rattlesnake in her car, and she believes it's been about 2 weeks. But that's the thing about driving. As mundane and routine as driving is, it somehow seems to always be an adventure every time you get behind the wheel. Don't know why, but that's the way it seems to go, and that's what the question is all about today. In all your years driving, what is the craziest thing that's happened?
Be part of the big show. Call 206-803-ROCK. You can like the Men's Room on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Men's Room Live, and send your emails to the Men's Room at KISW.com.
My 13-year-old acts like a puppy again. Almost overnight, she's a different dog.
Perfect poops.
When people switch their dog's food to the farmer's dog, the effects can seem like magic. But there's no magic involved. It's simply real meat and vegetables with all the nutrients dogs need, instead of highly processed pellets. No tricks, just smarter, healthier pet food delivered in packs portioned for your dog. It's amazing what real food can do. Get 50% off your first order at thefarmersdog.com/no magic.
Listening to your favorite podcast? That's smart. Earning your degree online from Southern New Hampshire University? That's really smart. With 24/7 access to coursework, no set class times, and dedicated student support, you can go to school when and where it works for you. Low online tuition means you can even do it for less. And dedicated student support means we'll be with you from day one to graduation and beyond. Join a community of learners just like you. Go to snhu.edu today to start your free application.
From executive producer Jimmy Kimmel.
What's up, team? Just two people can't launch a brand. It takes a village.
We are MMD Hollywood.
Wow,
which stands for medical marijuana.
Due to restrictions, we can't tell you everything about our new reality series. But what we can say is the idea behind it is fully baked. High Hopes. Streaming 4/20 on Hulu.
This is a promotional message for Alexia Sweet Potato Fries, and in the process of elucidating you on all the wondrous virtues Alexia Sweet Potato Fries have to offer, I intend to do so in a prodigious manner befitting of such a superlative side. That's because all Alexia creations are creatively crafted, from sweet potato fries that accomplish a delicate balance of sweet and savoury, without GMOs or superfluous additives, to the eloquent lexicon of our advertisements, like this one, because every Alexia experience is intended to feel creatively crafted and exceptional without exception. Alexia's Sweet Potato Fries. Do procure them in your grocer's freezer.
The debauchery rolls on. You're listening to The Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
All the Charles, away we go. Welcome to Season 19, Episode number 4064. What a large and in charge program we have for you today. Guaranteed future repeat. Exciting return of Who Sucks Less. Steve, I don't know how you do it. You find people in the news doing bad things. You bring us 3 stories every week. It is up to us to determine, out of the 3 stories, which one sucks the least. How bad have the people been being this week?
You know, they're as bad this week as they are every week, but to put it in perspective, you've heard of that movie, what was it, 4 Weddings and a Funeral? Yeah, we will call today's episode 2 Weddings and a Hospital Visit. Okay, that about sums it up, but nobody doing good stuff.
Good times. The return of Who Sucks Less coming up. In big news, as you know, we've launched a brand new beer with our new partners at Black Raven Brewing. Hopefully you've got a chance to taste the new Men's Room IPA. If you have found it in any location, do us a favor. Send us a picture, tag us on Facebook, send it to the Men's Room at KISW.com. Let us know where you find the beer.
And by that, we mean like the store. We had a guy from your neck of the woods earlier today, Mike, and he sent us a picture. It was awesome. We see the display. He's like, dude, found it in Enumclaw. So I emailed him back, said, what's the name of the store? It's the Safeway, in fact, in Enumclaw, but we just didn't know.
We'll update you.
Go to a Safeway.
Yes,
that is absolutely true.
We're going to update you on some of the newer locations that we have been discovering along the way coming up on the program. Also, don't forget, it is the Men's Room World Tour 2024, stop number 1 at the Men's Room IPA launch party. And that will be at the Black Raven Brewery in Tap House in Woodinville, Friday, March 15th. We will do our show live from 2 until 6 o'clock. It is absolutely free.
Yep.
It is a beautiful facility. Stop by, taste all the delicious Black Raven brews, and hopefully you'll already have gotten a chance to try the IPA, but if not, they have tons of it on draft, so we're going to have a good afternoon.
And even if you have tried it, drink more. We won't judge.
It goes to charity. It goes to our friends at the Fisher House.
That's what I keep telling my wife. Do you really need another one? Hey, I'm helping the veterans.
And
trying to help.
Trust me when I say that they are brewing as much of this beer as humanly possible to get it as many locations as they can. So they are working hard as well. Hopefully you've been able to find some of the new Men's Room IPA from Black Raven Brewing. So again, we'll have some more locations coming up on the program for you. And today on the question, we're going to talk about driving and just the entire aspect of your car's life, your car's history, weird things that have happened, weird things that you have seen while driving. And we start with this story. As a woman in Arizona, her name is Milan Watt. I believe that's how you say her name.
Milan Watt.
Milan Watt, who found a rattlesnake in her car. Now, it's one thing to find a rattlesnake in your car. Milan believes that she's probably been driving around with a rattlesnake in her car for 2 weeks.
Why does she think that? I didn't read through the whole story, but she seems pretty convinced of this. What is her reasoning?
Well, she lives in Phoenix and parks her car in a lot of desert areas. So she says it must have slithered in at some point, but she's not sure when. She never heard it rattle. She was in the car with her boyfriend when he spotted it, sitting on the back seat. It was, in fact, a diamondback, which are among the most venomous snakes in the United States.
Yes.
Luckily, her boyfriend saw it while they were parked. She says if she'd been driving, she probably would have crashed the car.
Oh, you would have.
So they called 911.
And that probably would have made the snake agitate it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you crash, then it bites you.
But ultimately just opened the doors, and her boyfriend used a broken tree branch to get the snake out. Experts say snakes getting into cars is fairly common, but Milan's not taking any chances. She now always checks under her seats before she drives. Now, bend your head down there and just get snapped right in the face.
They say it's fairly common. Why do you think that is? Are people leaving their windows cracked? I mean, I know it's hot in Phoenix, so maybe that's...
Oh, no, there's snakes. They can just get in through a tire well or through your engine.
Oh, God. Right.
Either they're looking for more heat or they're looking for more coolness.
I'm going to say in Phoenix, looking for shade.
Depending on the time of the year. Either way, okay. There's a rattlesnake in the back of my car. Let's go back to a previous discussion that we had about using the emergency phone system. All right? Is this worthy of a 911 call? Or is this a 411 call?
To me, this is 411 because other than my initial
panic... The guy dialed 911.
That's 911. You're in danger.
Right. But it's all right. But to me, because they were parked. So my first order of business is to get out of the car.
Right.
I think
but once you're out, you're safe.
Right. And right, this guy he found his broken tree branch. He got it out. And I feel that you can handle this yourself, but even if you're deathly afraid of snakes, Ted, I would still say call 411 because when you, or not 411, Jesus, 311.
311, sorry.
311. Information would be like, we don't care. But 311, like, okay, we will send someone to your location to do it. But I feel like 911, they're like, well, if it didn't bite you, it doesn't quite qualify as an emergency.
That's a venomous animal in your car. Like, I think that's 100% fine. Now, look, 911's probably, or the man or woman's probably just say, we'll send animal control or whatever.
Sure.
But to me, that is an emergency. If a bear bursts in your house, you're not going to dial 311.
No, but I feel like with a bear, that's an adversary I have to deal with, right? Whether I'm in my house or not, because I can leave the house.
If you don't bother
like
the
a snake's not going to chase me out of the house.
A snake typically won't bother you if you do not bother the snake.
Right. It's just
where a bear will be
car.
in attack mode.
Yeah.
If you step on that snake or get close to the snake or the snake is defending something, yes, there's a chance you're going to get bit. But other than that, I mean, there were snakes all over West Virginia. The one thing they will give you a warning of a rattle. That's why they have the rattle, to tell you.
If you hear it.
I'm here.
I would not wear earpods, by the way, in Phoenix. Seriously, just knowing the prevalence of rattlesnakes around that area, like, you need to keep your ears open. Just so if they are signaling you, like, hey, okay, I got to bite you now.
Well, just based on everything else, they're kind of telling you to be in tune a lot of the time now, even if you're just walking down the street, as far as
I agree with that, yeah.
Peripheral vision, being able to hear things around you, being able to see things. Not walking out into traffic while looking at your phone.
My God, that's an everyday occurrence.
Are they? Yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell people not to wear headphones when they're walking, though.
Sure. I mean, look, they're saying just use discretion. You can do whatever you want, but if you get hit by a car or jump from behind, they're just saying that might be part of the reason why.
No, I realize
if you want to walk with your eyes closed, knock yourself out. Yeah. It's a bad idea.
There's a article that started from Runner's World magazine, and it's about, obviously, there's been a lot of...
You have a subscription to Runner's World?
No, but I follow it online, so I read their stories. Yeah, it's like...
So basically, yes.
It's like outdoor magazine, whatever. It's just I read the stuff, and in the running community, based on what happened to the young woman who was attacked, so more women who run, and the idea of, look, even if you're trail running and there's animals, or if there are people coming up behind you, yes, you can be plugged in, but just know that you're not going to be aware of all of your surroundings as well.
Sure.
So try to be as safe as possible. So that was one of their tips.
Like, honestly, when I lived in Baltimore, I did not wear headphones when I went down the street, just for that reason. You know what I mean? Because everyone around there was up to no good, depending where I was walking. But, like, I had to go ahead and keep my eyes and ears open in this case.
Now we go to Laredo, Texas. A man is in the hospital after a driver crashed into his property and then drug him to the house next door.
Oh, damn.
The incident happened yesterday at 6 o'clock in the evening. According to Laredo police, a 2020 white Chevy Camaro crashed through the fence on Emma Lane and hit a man who happened to be standing in his backyard. He was just back in his backyard.
Why would you feel safe there?
The Camaro goes through the fence and crashes into the victim. He hit the man and then drug him to his next-door neighbor's yard. When police arrived, the victim was located underneath said Camaro.
Mm-hmm.
Driver said he tried to avoid hitting a vehicle by pressing on the brakes, but instead he pressed on the gas, resulting in the crash. The victim had non-life-threatening injuries. He was listed in stable condition. He still remains in the hospital. The investigation is ongoing.
God, that would piss me off.
And then
so the dude's just standing in his yard.
He's just hanging out in his yard.
He's in his own yard.
Probably the guy driving hits him.
Well, he drives through his fence and then runs him over and drags him all the way to his neighbor's house.
I hope there wasn't another fence that he smashed this guy through.
Could very well be. And then the story out of Louisville, Kentucky. You might have seen the footage or the pictures. The driver of a semi-truck was pulled to safety on Friday by firefighters following a crash that left the 18-wheeler dangling over a bridge across the Ohio River. By the way, bridges, especially that go over the Ohio and the Mississippi, they have to meet certain height requirements based on the cargo ships that are transported in those areas. So there's not going to be a floating bridge. There's not going to be a flat bridge.
No.
These things, when they are up at their span, at the point of their height where the bridges can travel underneath them, they got a pretty good clip to get to the water.
Yes, they do.
Just so you understand. So
I don't know that I've ever seen a floating bridge outside of the Northwest.
I had never seen a floating bridge until we moved here, and I was with the sales guy. I mean, we'd been here like 3 weeks. And an old sales guy we used to work with, we went somewhere east of here. I do not remember where because it was that long ago. But anyway, we're coming back to Seattle. Took a different route. He went to the floating bridge, but he says to me, hey, man, we're about to go over the bridge. I'm like, cool. And everywhere I looked, I didn't see a bridge. And then we started going downhill. And I'm like, I have never gone downhill to get on a bridge. Now, that said, all these years later, it's kind of cool, man.
Right.
It really is, but I've just never seen that before.
The 3-vehicle crash happened on the George Rogers Clark Memorial Bridge. $5. Who is George Rogers Clark? $5.
George Rogers
That connects
Clark.
Louisville, Kentucky to southern Indiana. George Rogers
Do we know
Clark
this person?
Memorial. I don't know. I'm asking you if you know who he is.
I thought you were going
I'll give
to
you
impart some wisdom.
No, Ted knows history. You know a lot of different things. I know your mom.
Maybe he might just been a governor.
You say governor? What's his name
I'll say
again?
a Kentucky colonel because it's Kentucky.
Ooh,
Okay. Ooh, that's not a bad guess. George Rogers
Good
Clark.
guess. Good guess. George Rogers Clark.
Yeah.
George Rogers Clark.
So the incident happened around noon. According to the fire chief, one other person involved in the crash was immediately taken to the hospital, and crews set up to rescue the truck driver from the cab. Basically what happened was oncoming traffic hit this guy, the 18-wheeler, and knocked him off the bridge. He did not swerve or anything else. A car came into his lane. So it took about 40 minutes to set up the rope system and get something ready to rappel down to the cab and hook the driver up in a safety harness and bring her out safely. She was taken to the hospital as a precaution. They train for this type of stuff all the time, believe it or not. He said about that rescue company. This is very much a worst-case scenario, but they know how to do it. Firefighters were prepared. The operation went smoothly because of their training. These were some serious heroes. This was really professional, very well practiced, and an incredibly well-trained staff. They got right out there and got to her. Louisville Metro Police are investigating the crash and said the bridge remained closed Friday afternoon. It has since reopened. A safety inspection of the bridge will be conducted after all vehicles are removed, according to the transportation captain.
And this was legitimately like a movie or your average TV show. When you look at it, I mean, the cab of the truck is hanging over the water. You do have to lower the guy down on the rope. And I've only ever seen this on bad TV dramas and the occasional movie. Yeah.
Not only that, but it was a Cisco truck.
Oh, man, a lot of restaurants are waiting for their deliveries.
Exactly what I was just thinking about. Like, don't fall over into the Ohio River, man. That's a whole lot of food.
That is a lot of food.
It's going to go to waste. Matter of fact, I had to jump in the bag and say, look, man, from a waiting standpoint, do you need me to take any of these delicious steaks home or ribs or whatever the deal is?
I see you have chicken wings in the back.
Well, there's a refrigeration unit on top of the 18-wheeler, so I realized that's cold storage, which means probably some pretty good stuff in there.
By the way, George Rogers Clark, you said a former governor, Ted, which is not a bad guess, or a Kentucky colonel. So here's a quick rundown of George Rogers Clark. He was born in Virginia in 1752. And as the story goes, he was not a good student, preferring to spend his time outdoors exploring instead of in the classroom. Recognizing his son's potential as an outdoorsman, his father secured him an apprenticeship with a surveyor. From there, he spent his time exploring the outdoors. Basically, when he went through Kentucky, he really, really, really developed a love for the area. So he basically went back and explained to everyone this area that, I don't know if it was called Kentucky back then. I love this area. It's fantastic. So they named the bridge after him. And look at him. That's not a good-looking man.
No,
at all.
Okay, all right. So you can just go someplace and like it, and then they name something after you?
If you're one of the
already
first ones
decorated war hero.
He was a war hero.
Okay.
Yeah, revolutionary.
I don't know if moving to Kentucky was good for him, though.
Why? What happened then?
Alcoholism and poor health affected Clark during his final years. In 1809, he suffered a severe stroke when he fell into a burning fireplace.
Gee,
why? Bubba.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
That's why he falls into
Kentucky.
a fireplace. Come on. Now.
Drunk people.
That's the stories we hear about people who go camping all the time. Yeah, buddy fell into the fire pit. Because you had not been drinking?
Do you think they leave that part out when they're teaching the kids in Kentucky? That part, man, this is named after George, and he did all this. You think they leave out then he got drunk, fell into a fire pit, and had a stroke.
Almost died.
I mean, it depends on how famous you are. Like, Grant's pretty famous for his drinking.
Known for it, yeah.
Our question, in all your years of driving, what is the craziest thing that has happened? 206-803-ROCK.
At Metro, get an iPhone 12 with 5G and a dual camera system for $99.99. Take amazing pictures and share them instantly. And don't put up with life's yada yada. Yada yada. Like photo bombers. Zoom, crop out, yada yada. And bye.
You don't take yada yada in life, don't take yada yada from your wireless provider. Get iPhone 12 with 5G with no activation fees and nada yada yada. Only at Metro by T-Mobile. Switch to Metro, bring your ID. This offer isn't available for customers currently at T-Mobile or that have been with Metro in the past 180 days.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Remember when you first saw the potential? And then through some elbow grease, fresh installs, and a whole lot of love, you transformed 100,000 miles and a body full of rust into a drive that's all your own. Look to your left. Look to your right. It's official. No one's got a ride like this. There's nothing else that sounds like, feels like, or looks like the set of wheels in your garage. With over 122 million parts, you can make sure your number one ride or die stays running smoothly. So there's no limit to how far you can take it. Brake kits, turbochargers, engines, exhaust kits, roof racks, LED headlights, bumpers. Whatever your baby needs, eBay Motors has it. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, it's guaranteed to fit your ride the first time, every time, or your money back. Plus, at these prices, well, you're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
1, 2, 3, 4. Those are numbers. But you already knew that. If you want to know what number you're going to pay each month for your car, use Kelley Blue Book My Wallet on Auto Trader. They're really good at numbers. Auto Trader.
This episode is brought to you by Allianz Travel Insurance. Are you planning 2 or more trips in the next 365 days? An all-trips annual travel insurance plan can protect all your adventures for less. Get a quote at AllianzTravelInsurance.com.
99.9 KISW. The shenanigans continue. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
So our question, in all your years of driving, what is the craziest thing that has happened? 206-803-ROCK.
Few quick text here says, when I was driving through Dallas once, a man jumped off the interstate bridge and landed in the middle of traffic. One car ahead of me. He was wearing nothing but a swimsuit. And then proceeded to run at full speed despite sustaining several injuries, definitely on some kind of drugs. I got my car stuck under a ski lift halfway up the Central Express at Snoqualmie Pass. I was just young and had recently watched a video of Ken Block driving around a ski resort. Snoqualmie was in fact closed at the time. I was driving down the freeway around 70 miles an hour, and the front driver's side wheel flew off my car. Now, I managed to keep the car under control and pull over to the shoulder, but my wheel rolled about half a mile away. I looked like a psycho rolling that thing back to my car on the side of the freeway.
Not only that, but when that happens, the most important thing about putting a wheel on, even if you have a spare and that tire is damaged, is the lug nuts.
That is exactly it.
If you
lose the lug nuts,
you got a half mile, like, if I can find 2 bolts.
You just got to find them
3
along
bolts,
the way.
Maybe I can get home.
And Ken Block, remember, his title is Professional Rally Car Driver.
Professional goes so far when you watch, like every commercial you see for a car, even if they're just driving down the street, it always says professional driver, closed cars.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, yeah, we know. Actually, a weird one I saw the other day, all right? So I can't remember what drug it was. It's for old people. But a guy pops on, and he says, I take whatever this is. Now I feel better. I can do my thing. Then they show an image of his wife, right? Now, she doesn't say anything, but she shows up in the commercial next to him, and they're doing things together. Actress portrayal. So he is legitimately someone who takes the drug, but the woman who plays his wife was an actress. And I'm like, how ugly is your real-life wife? That they like, oh, no, God, not her. We have someone for that. But the same guy, he says, I also saw a Honda Civic racing, and he lost control. He ended up slamming into a wall and then ricocheting into a school bus. Pretty sure all the kids were okay because he lost most of his momentum after hitting the wall, but it was still quite the effed up spectacle.
There was a guy in West Virginia just got arrested, 54-year-old bus driver of children, and he was intoxicated. And he rolled a school bus last week.
Jesus.
With the kids on it. I'm just like, dude, when you see the pictures of it, you're like, oh no, this is terrible.
The drunk school bus driver.
54 years old. West Virginia. In all your years of driving, what's the craziest thing that has happened? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Devontae. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
So I got 2. I'll give you one just for time's sake. Driving down Highway 18 a few weeks ago, GPS gets 4 minutes added onto it for a new accident. And traffic slows to a stop. We all got to move to the right so that EMT and ambulance can get by. And when we finally roll past, it was so fresh. They just had a tent over a body, right? But 20 yards down the way, when we all started to go past, there was a human arm on the side of the road they hadn't yet got to yet.
Brother, I'm going to be honest with you. From my point of view, I'd be like, cover the arm first.
Yeah. I don't even think they knew.
Damn.
I really sprayed a blue fingernail polish on the fingers, and I haven't stopped thinking about it.
You're not going to. When we last year, we were driving through New Mexico, and traffic came to a stop. Couldn't figure out why. I mean, there's just no one on the highway. But by the time everyone came to a stop, there's maybe 9 cars. Then we hear a helicopter. Keep in mind, we're in a rental, so it had like the double sunroof kind of thing. And one of those medevac helicopters landed in the median directly next to our car, which, by the way, blew all that crap across the car. And we realized this accident was scattered maybe 200 yards down the road. They did their thing. Traffic starts moving again. And it was the same thing where there was a little girl who was injured, but she was injured. And then maybe 20 feet later, there was someone who just there. So we had to distract the kids, prevent them from seeing it. But same thing, like that image is burned in my head.
What was your second one?
Coming back from Shoreline, I seen like live a person toss a shopping cart onto the freeway on I-5.
Jeez.
And it hit a brand new, it bounced off the road. It landed bottom side up, bounced a good 2 feet in the air, smacked this STI that was about 50 yards ahead of me. Windshield shatters into pieces. The cart goes to the right. The car also goes to the right, and I fly by at my own 70 miles an hour, all in 5 seconds.
Right. I mean, there's just nothing. Did you hear anything else about this? Any follow-up on the news or anything?
I didn't even look.
Yeah,
it was 8 a.m. It was a little too early for all that.
God, man. Come on. Not that there's a good time to do that, but like, really, man, 8 o'clock in the frickin' morning.
In all of your years of driving, what's the craziest thing that has happened? 206-803-ROCK.
The thing is, you drive so much. Like, I've told the story about driving down in Pennsylvania and just a horrible, like, thunderstorm rain. I mean, it is awful. And this van spins out, smashes up against, like, the side of the mountain, like the rocks.
Yeah.
But, like, we couldn't stop because we would have done the same thing. To this day, I don't know if those people were okay. Hopefully. Thank God the wall was there, the rocks. But then one year on solstice, right? We had done the solstice parade, and then that night there was a supermoon. So we're driving over to Golden Gardens in the evening time because we want to go see this supermoon on the beach. And there is a dude, not homeless, normal-looking dude, just strolling across 99.
99.
Right there, like before you get down to the tunnel, in between like the Aurora Bridge and the tunnel.
That's probably one of the worst places on Aurora to just saunter across.
Well, there's a lot of encampments through there. There used to be.
But I'm telling you, this guy was not one of those people. Right. He was just strolling through. The only thing I just went, that guy's on some psychedelic. It just doesn't know the danger he's in.
I would say because of solstice and supermoon, you're
Correct.
probably right. Like, okay, he's tripping a bit, but that's a horrible
strolling. Like I've seen people run across there,
yeah.
right? Because it's kind of weird to get to the other side. But this dude was just strolling. He was fine.
Yeah.
Was there a lot of traffic or?
I mean, we passed him. He was already making it into the third lane. So I don't know if he sped up once he hopped the wall. But I mean, it sounds crazy, but he was just strolling and giving off an aura of like,
I'm high.
Nothing can touch me.
Ted, every day when I drive in on, I come from the north side, but I normally get on Fifth Avenue. So Fifth Avenue's got the monorail for about half the distance it takes me to get here. There's these huge pillar columns that I go through there. You've seen the murals that they painted for the Major League All-Star game. It's all in that area.
Those were awesome.
They're still up. The thing is that I call them zombies because they're just not paying attention to what's going on. It's like The Walking Dead. But they will just pop in and out of those, and they're walking. They're not in a hurry. It's just, this is their world.
Even if they're in a hurry, that's as fast as they're going to go.
But you can't, they'll just walk right out without even turning and looking past these pillars.
Oh, yeah.
I swear to God, I feel like one of these days I'm going to come into work and somebody's going to go flying off the top of my hood because they walked right out in the street.
But if you choose to do that.
Every week. It's like, how many times do people walk by you screaming a week? This is less than that.
5 times a day, every day, yeah.
But this is, it's reoccurring. So, like, downtown, man, I really, really pay attention to what's going on because the last thing I want to do is hurt somebody who just is not there mentally, you know?
Then you should walk.
Pretty much.
I mean, my God.
In all your years of driving, what's the craziest thing that has happened? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Nick. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola. So this was a couple of years ago. I was living in Snohomish with my best friend, and me and him been drinking like we usually do. And then we're in our house hanging out, and we hear this loud bang sound. Just like, what the hell? What was that? He goes outside, and I'm a little bit too messed up to really kind of care. He comes back in. He's like, "Oh, some girl from." Because we live really close to Who's On First in Snohomish, which is the bar in town, and this girl had hit a bunch of cars going down our street, and somehow managed to turn a 90-degree angle and gone up onto the sidewalk into this vacant lot where they were going to start construction soon on the new dentist office. And I was like, oh, geez. So, and the cops show up. My buddy's like, hey, Nick, you got to get out here. You know, I was like, I don't want to talk to the cops. I'm kind of blasted. I get out there, and then they apparently had already finished their reports, and I was checking out my car, and she kind of gave me a good clip. And I was like, hey, she clipped the back of my car, and the cop was like, well, I already finished the report. And I was like, I'll go ask her. And I was like, oh, thanks. That's great. You're gonna ask this drunk girl if she hit my car. Obviously, she says no.
You don't say.
Yeah, right.
I was like, oh wow, that's neat. I mean, it wasn't the worst hit on the planet. I think I was on the tail end of her swerving, so I only hit a little bit. A couple other cars got hit up really bad, so I was like, oh, sweet. And then I'm a really paranoid. If my check engine light's on, I will take it to the dealership and I will get it serviced as soon as I possibly can.
That is the opposite of everyone I know. It's like, let's see if it turns off over the next 6 weeks.
You treat your car like your penis.
Yeah, basically.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
No, if something's wrong, I have to go get it checked out. This is my lifeblood. And so I get it checked out, and I think, oh, it's because that lady hit me. It's whatever. 2 weeks go by, and I eventually go back into the dealership, and I was like, hey, what's up with my car? And they're like, oh, we already started replacing the motor. And I'm like, what? You're doing what now? That's expensive. I don't have that kind of money. And he starts talking, and I was like, hold up. That's like an $8,000 thing. I was like, oh, no, it's still under your warranty. It's only going to cost me $250. Now,
game on.
All right.
How many miles did you have on the car?
65.
See, that's like a reset on that car, man. Mm-hmm. I mean, you might as well just roll the odometer back to zero.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, And I was like, so what happened to the motor? Oh, there was fluid in your cylinders. Now it's like, oh, I'm assuming that's bad. I have no idea.
If
So
they say it,
because of
just
this-
assume it's bad.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know. Like, there's a reason why I take it to the dealership. It's not because I know all things about cars. But because of that lady hitting me, I was like, all right. My paranoidness kind of helped me out this time. I got a brand new motor. I'm sitting in the car right now about to go to the gym.
Well, Nick, remember, just because you're paranoid doesn't mean you're wrong. No. Comforting words that we can offer. I know you're paranoid, man. Doesn't mean you're wrong.
In all your years of driving, what's the craziest thing that's happened? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Alex. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola. So I'm sure you guys know, if you're local, that there's been street races going down in Kent for quite a few years.
It seems the news covers it quite often.
Yeah. Been going on probably since, my grandpa was going down there in the 60s. But it'd gone down there for quite a few years in my times of getting in trouble. And, it was usually like 500 to 1,000 cars every weekend. Pretty crazy. Something like you'd see in Fast and the Furious. And one night we're all out there, doing our thing. And here comes this, Kent police car. And, everybody's getting ready to scatter and freak out and do the usual thing and take off running. And he actually pulled up to the starting line and raced.
For
Could not
real?
believe it.
How
Three
did
times.
How did he do in the races?
Oh, he got smoked. It was in it was in a Ford, or what do you call it, the Crown Victorias.
Yeah.
And he went up against some guy that had a Charger, and then some other guy with a little turbo Honda Civic, and they left him sitting there. But I mean, just to get to witness that was pretty cool.
That is kind of cool,
right.
man.
I mean, as long as nobody got hurt.
Did you ever see the same cop again? Like, did he roll back maybe a month later? Like, all right, man, they gave me a new ride. Let's see what I got.
Yeah, he did, and for the ones of us that knew it was him, he was like, look, I used to do this, man, in my younger years. He's like, I'm not going to say it's the smart thing to do, but
I get it.
We all have our fun,
Okay.
and just don't be stupid. Don't kill each other.
That's pretty good advice. If he's going to be cool.
If you're going to be cool, I kind of like that. I'm sure the department would frown on that, but still, I get it. It's my father. So when I'm growing up, man, all I know about my dad is that he had been in the Navy, right? So I'm like, all right, man, there's a veteran here in the family and all this crap. And this is only maybe about 10 years ago that I find this out. And it's only because my mother says, Robert, have you ever told Stephen why you joined the Navy? Because he was proud to tell me he was in the Navy. He could make his bed. He used to, always shine his shoes back in his working days, all this kind of stuff. So he goes, well, because again, in my mind, you simply enlisted, Right. This makes sense. Good on. He's like, yeah, that's not exactly what happened. When I was living in Houston, I think he was 19 years old at the time anyway, and he still drives very fast to this day. But he's a young man. He's 19. He's speeding through the streets of Houston. And as he says, this good old boy pulls behind me. And back then, racism's always existed, but back then, they'd yank you out of your car, beat your ass, all this kind of thing. So he's like, I'm trying to get away from this guy, and I gun it. And now we're both driving through the streets of Houston. And I look in my rearview mirror, and now it's worse, because now there's like 3 dudes in cars chasing me down. So he's like, I'm kind of panicking. And he's like, this goes on for quite a while. Finally, a police car flips on its lights, and he's like, thank God. I'm going to pull over and explain to the cops, like, hey, man, these guys are trying to kick my ass. What he found out in that moment was they were in unmarked police vehicles. They were also police officers. They were trying to pull him over for speeding. Now it's like, trying to evade arrest or whatever the hell. But he says he honestly did not know.
Yeah.
This is how the story's told to me. To me, there's a few holes here and there. But the truth of it is, basically, he outraced the cops for quite a while and pulled over when a marked police car flipped on the lights. So even to this day, when I said, look, well, how far did it go? He goes, oh, man, I was killing these guys. He goes, it's not my fault they can't drive. It's like, I've always been a driver. This is how I go. It's like, I didn't know. So he pleads this to the cops. He has his court case and all this kind of thing. And in the end, they said, look, either you can go to jail for like 2 years or whatever it is, or enlist in the military. And he picked the Navy. I'm like, that's why you joined the Navy. Me and my brother grew up thinking, like, you're one of those guys, you know what I mean? One of the good guys out there. I'm like, basically, you could have been a felon, and that's why you joined the military. Great story, Dad. Thanks, man.
In all your years of driving, what's the craziest thing that's happened? 206-803-ROCK. And in the end, based on what ended up happening, that is crazy. Just the mechanism for what got him there was just the fact that he was able to elude police.
Oh, and that's his thing. He's like, I honestly didn't know, because he goes, in my mind, they would drive more defensively or drive better or whatever it is they're going to do. And he's like, oh, I was crushing those guys, you know. He's like, they had no chance. I'm like, okay, good to know. Hello, Scott. Welcome to the men's room.
Hey, guys.
Hola. How you doing, man?
How you doing? Hey, I love your show. Thanks for everything you do. I really appreciate it.
Oh, no, thank you, man.
You bet. So back in '91, after Desert Storm, I was in the Air Force, and I had I was a single dad of a 6-year-old kid, and I got out of the Air Force after the war and came out here to start, anew, and started working at the UW Medical Center. Anyway, we found a place out in Maple Valley when we got here, and it was like a little 5-acre place out there, and we really liked it, and I thought it would be good for my son to get some responsibility and stuff, to have some animals to take care of. And so we got some chickens, and that was really cool, and he liked that. And so I went to the Enumclaw livestock auction and got caught up in that. And
there's a possibility that Mike's father sold you something.
All right, he wants this pig. Big fat pit.
So I bought this pig for $50, and I go, oh my God, how am I going to get it home? Because I went to the auction in a Plymouth Volare, which was like a 1980s model Volare. It's like a 2-door. So we squeezed the pig, which was about 150 pounds or so, in the back seat of this thing, and he's freaking out like that deer in Tommy Boy. He's driving down the road, and he takes this dump in the back of my car. He's squealing, and the smell of this thing, I started throwing up, and then I ran into the back of another car.
Oh, man.
And so he stopped and he got out, and the pig was freaking out, and he got out, and he was running around on the highway in and out. And it ended up costing me like $500 to get that thing lassoed up and taken to my place. And then I got charged with causing an accident. So that damn pig cost me like $3,000 in the long run, and it was not a good show of responsibility.
All right, how was the pig when you finally got it back to your place? Did you?
It took him a couple of days to kind of chill out, but after that, he was great, and he actually just passed away recently. So
you're kidding me? How long did the pig live?
I got him kind of midlife. I think that's why he was so cheap. But he lived another 8 years. He was a really smart, nice pig, really cool. But he never wanted to get in cars.
No, I got to ask.
Yeah, I would say there's no chance his ass gets back in the car.
Since the pig had lived so long, is that? I mean, can you still eat the pig at that point in time?
This is what Miles wants to know.
I'm serious. You got the pig. It's big.
I don't know. When the pig died, I had a neighbor come in with a little bobcat and scooped him up, and they took him to the butcher. So I guess somebody got him.
They took him to the butcher.
Yeah, you should at least get some bacon out of this deal, dude.
We donated him to like a home, a food
feed
bank. The poor and stuff like that.
Okay.
So he ended up going for a good reason, and he was a good guy, but I had to sell. I got rid of that car right. It was kind of full anyway, but there was like pig crap and all kinds of mice throw up in there, and it was just a nightmare.
How much did you get for the car? How much money did someone give you for this?
Actually, I had to give someone $25 to take it.
Okay, all right. Now, when the cops got there, was the pig still in the back of the car, or was it running on the highway?
No, he was running around. He was like running out onto it was like Green River Road. I think he was like running in and out of that, and he was like causing traffic problems, and I'd gotten so much trouble for that.
The guy that you hit, did he see the fact that you had a pig in the backseat of your car?
Yeah, he thought it was pretty damn funny.
I'm sure he did. See, I get made fun of from being...
He was in a big truck, and he didn't really feel it, and I think the only reason he really knew something was going on is because there was a pig like squealing around and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, there's a sign that this is out of the ordinary.
Where are you
covered in vomit and there's a pig running?
Where are you originally from?
My parents were in the military too, so I was kind of a military kid and all over. But I was mostly I came from D.C. when I got out. I couldn't stand D.C. area and didn't want to raise my kid in that environment, so we moved over here.
All right. I'm just wondering.
I got to ask, where'd you live in the D.C. area that you hated so much?
I was on Andrews Air Force Base and right outside by Suitland, Maryland. It's a pit.
Yeah, I grew up in PG County. I know it well.
You are not wrong. You're not wrong about that. Hey, by the way, one quick question.
I don't know if it's changed since 1990, but I doubt it.
PG County's got nicer. Suitland's still kind of Suitland.
Yeah. One last question, though. So when the cops show up, is it one of the cops that actually wrangles the pig, or do they have to call in a specialist?
He tried. He actually even tried to tase the thing. But
wait a minute. So does he have a Rolodex in the car that says like pig wrangler? I mean,
right,
animal control.
He found the animal control thing and made an emergency, and the fire people also came out to try to get him, and it was, oh my God, it was a nightmare.
How long?
Like rubbernecking and stuff. It was like,
how long did this
around, and I'm just standing there going, yeah, it was me. And I got poop and throw up all over me. I smell like,
pig ass.
A diaper. It's awful.
How long did all of this last? From the time the accident happens until they finally wrangled the pig?
So we got to I was there, the lifestyle action for like an hour. It took like an hour to load him up because he didn't want to get in. And then I was on the road for like 20 minutes before he just totally freaked out completely. So, and then he was like running on the road for another at least 2.5 hours. I couldn't get home. 2.5 hours.
Did the cops?
And it was like, luckily it was a Sunday, but it was like getting it into the evening port, so it was like kind of filling up. It was just. Did
the cop think you might be drunk?
He asked me if I was drinking, and I said no. And he goes, "Well, God, you should have been."
Yeah. Right. Okay, I got one more question before we let you go and go to break. What was the pig? What was the pig's name?
We named him Volare.
Volare. Okay.
Perfect name.
Oh, I'm sure Ricardo Montalban would have been happy about that. Volare. In all of your years of driving, what is the craziest thing that's happened? 206-803-ROCK.
My 13-year-old acts like a puppy again. Almost overnight, she's a different dog.
Perfect poops. When people switch their dog's food to the farmer's dog, the effects can seem like magic. But there's no magic involved. It's simply real meat and vegetables with all the nutrients dogs need, instead of highly processed pellets. No tricks, just smarter, healthier pet food delivered in packs portioned for your dog. It's amazing what real food can do. Get 50% off your first order at thefarmersdog.com/no-magic.
Listening to your favorite podcast? That's smart. Earning your degree online from Southern New Hampshire University? That's really smart. With 24/7 access to coursework, no set class times, and dedicated student support, you can go to school when and where it works for you. Low online tuition means you can even do it for less. And dedicated student support means we'll be with you from day one to graduation and beyond. Join a community of learners just like you. Go to snhu.edu today to start your free application.
From executive producer Jimmy Kimmel.
What's up, team? Just two people can't launch a brand. It takes a village.
We are MMD Hollywood.
Wow,
which stands for medical marijuana.
Due to restrictions, we can't tell you everything about our new reality series. But what we can say is the idea behind it is fully baked. High Hopes. Streaming 4/20 on Hulu.
Intercom's AI-first customer service platform answers 50% of questions in seconds. That means happier customers. And Fin AI Copilot, our new personal AI assistant for every support agent, means more efficient teams. It's a win-win. The platform also provides insights for managers, and it's simple to set up and use. That makes Intercom a win-win, win-win-win. Intercom, AI-first customer service.
My 13-year-old acts like a puppy again. Almost overnight, she's a different dog.
Perfect poops. When people switch their dog's food to the farmer's dog, the effects can seem like magic. But there's no magic involved. It's simply real meat and vegetables with all the nutrients dogs need, instead of highly processed pellets. No tricks, just smarter, healthier pet food delivered in packs portioned for your dog. It's amazing what real food can do. Get 50% off your first order at thefarmersdog.com/no-magic.
Listening to your favorite podcast? That's smart. Earning your degree online from Southern New Hampshire University? That's really smart. With 24/7 access to coursework, no set class times, and dedicated student support, you can go to school when and where it works for you. Low online tuition means you can even do it for less. And dedicated student support means we'll be with you from day one to graduation and beyond. Join a community of learners just like you. Go to snhu.edu today to start your free application.
From executive producer Jimmy Kimmel.
What's up, team? Just two people can't launch a brand. It takes a village.
We are MMD Hollywood.
Wow,
which stands for medical marijuana.
Due to restrictions, we can't tell you everything about our new reality series. But what we can say is the idea behind it is fully baked. High Hopes. Streaming 4/20 on Hulu.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith from the Men's Room. And did you know I have a podcast? Well, I do. The Podcast. New episodes uploaded every Wednesday on the Odyssey app.
99.9 KISW. We return to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
A video captured a Georgia police officer rescuing a woman who was trapped inside a car that crashed through a fence and came to a rest on top of a covered swimming pool. By the way, the cover did not collapse.
It held.
In a 911 recording released by the Cobb County Police Department, the woman could be heard telling a dispatcher that someone just rammed through the pool fence in a car. She's in the middle of the pool. There's a covering over the pool, so she's not sinking. I don't know how long the covering is going to hold. Footage shows a man standing next to the vehicle on top of the pool cover as officers arrive at the gated community where the incident unfolded. He's heard telling them that the driver was holding her head up every once in a while. Apparently, she had some type of medical problem while she was driving.
Okay.
And lost control of the car. So they had to actually walk out onto the tarp and smash through the window to be able to wake her up to get her out of the car. And in all of this time, the pool cover never broke.
No, I mean, it sucked where the car was.
I don't know if this has the most amazing snaps on it. I have never heard of anything like this in my life. I have put pool covers on to winterize a pool before, some with snaps, some with like big hooks.
Yeah.
I still cannot believe that thing had the power to hold a car up. And they got the car off of the pool without it going into the pool.
And you look at the picture and you're like, you've got to be kidding me. The car submerged maybe a foot. That's about it.
I mean, it's just the cover is just it's just bowing down a little bit.
Yeah, because the weight of the
little
car.
bit of water, but that, I mean,
but that tells me if it were just a normal human being, like you could run across that thing and be absolutely fine.
In all of your years of driving, what's the craziest thing that has happened? 206-803-ROCK.
I kind of like how this text is written. So it says, "Hola, bitches. Just picked up a 6-year of your new men's room at the One Stop Deli and Grocery on Rucker Avenue in Everett. Damn, that beer goes down smooth. Congratulations, gents. Oh, and I saw a jumper on I-5 North near the convention center about 15 years ago. Never found out if they made it or not. It was only like a 40-foot drop. What is?
It doesn't matter. It's being hit by the vehicles below.
Right. But I'll say, how many feet is it before it says guaranteed terminal? You know, I mean, if you fall 1,000 feet, we don't expect.
Depends on how you land.
But yeah,
you know, some people fall out of a window, land into a bush, or they land on soft ground. Parachutists have lived through unbelievable falls just based on where they land.
Right.
So, who knows? It depends on. Do you land with your feet? Do you land on your head?
Well, if you land on your head, any fall is a bad fall.
Probably not going to.
In general, a person falling through the air reaches terminal velocity after about 12 seconds, which covers about 1,500 feet.
1,500 feet.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you fall onto the 14th story of a building, you got a chance.
I don't want to think about it.
Hello. Hello, Fred. Oh, God, we're on the 14th floor.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I'm not.
See, and my thing is I don't want a chance. If I fall from here, I don't want to live with the nightmare of what that was.
Well, Mike, they always say, hey, if you fall that far of a distance, you pass out before you hit the ground. Like, how do you know that?
Right.
Because again,
we took an autopsy. We could. I don't
know, because like Miles said, you get guys that skydive, right? And they're jumping out of 10,000 feet, 8,000 feet, whatever it is. The parachute does not open.
Right.
And some of those guys, they survive. Sometimes they just get a broken leg. They did not die on the way down.
Yeah.
And that's a lot farther than the Empire State Building. So, I don't believe that crap either. Hello, Fred. Welcome to the men's room.
Hello.
Hola.
Hola.
So what's the craziest thing you saw driving?
Well, I saw this little black line in the sand near Copalis Beach, and it was at night. And when I got up to it, I realized it was the edge of a river. Okay. And I slammed on my brakes and slid into it in a Volkswagen. And the water wasn't deep enough for it to float, but there was no way to drive across it because it got deeper beyond my car. So I had to walk in the middle of the night to find this service station that had a little old Willys Jeep with a boom on it that they called a tow truck. And they drove down to the beach, took the same route I did, and hooked up to it, tried to pull it through the sandbank, and that didn't work. So we shoveled the sand out so there's kind of a ramp, and they pulled it out and took it into their service station, and they got it running again. It wasn't deep enough to get down the carburetor, fortunately, but that was on our honeymoon.
Oh, right.
Oh, man.
That's a good omen. Are you still married?
Yeah.
Okay.
47 years.
See, maybe that was a good sign. You never know. If you can go through some crap
Are you
early
polishing
on.
this turd?
Well, yeah, pretty much.
It's a good omen, baby. It's like, hey, it's raining on our wedding day. Right, but the wedding's outdoors. It's good luck.
My day was just absolutely a downpour.
Do you think it was a good omen now?
No. No,
right.
not at all. No, I don't think for 1 minute I didn't think that at the time, like, yeah, this is...
Look, I've been to a wedding where it rains a little bit. Those were thunderstorms.
No.
Yours was lightning flashing.
Not only that, but it was 110 degrees, it felt like, before that. So
not
only it was awful during the day, but then when the evening came, it got worse.
I remember you're a photographer, because I want to say, when you add in all the moisture and blah, 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 it was the equivalent of 107 degrees. It broke a record, but we're wearing tuxes, and we're outdoors, and the photographer, you're out there. It always takes longer for wedding photos than just taking a quick picture. And I remember, we're out there a couple of minutes, and they're like, why isn't anyone smiling? It's like, because it's effing hot.
Yeah.
Could
you turn a little turn more?
Well, and throw, I don't know if you remember, but then the wedding party's done, and they just want some with the bride and groom, or maybe just the groom. Either way, me and you just happen to be walking in past this bar with our tuxes on, and we went up to the bar, and I mean, we are I know I am just pouring sweat.
Yeah.
And the bar, it's a Saturday afternoon on the waterfront on the harbor. It's packed.
Of course.
And the guy next to us just turns and goes, "You two look miserable." And he must have been a regular. And I mean, he called that bartender over. He's like, he's like, "What do you guys drink?" Like 2 Miller Lights. He's like, 4 Miller Lights. Put them on my tab. Yeah. Because I mean, I think we just, whatever the look on our faces was in the sweat, he just, you guys look miserable.
Yeah, he was right.
In all of your years of driving, what's the craziest thing that happened? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Kathy. Welcome to the men's room.
Hi, good afternoon.
Hola.
Hello, Kathy.
So this is, I suppose, a once-in-a-lifetime thing, but I was in a car that drove through a rainbow.
What do you mean you drove through a rainbow?
Yeah.
Through a rainbow. I never thought it was possible, but we were in just outside of Grants Pass, Oregon.
And you crashed into the Skittles factory.
Yeah, no, we found the pot of gold. I'm wealthy. No, but we saw the end of the rainbow was landing in the road on this long, straight country road way in front of us, and we're all commenting on it well, it's supposed to move. I heard you can never, it's an illusion. It moves. It didn't move. It stayed right there. We drove through it, and everybody in the car just went,
Did you hear a ba-boom, meaning you ran over the leprechaun?
I wish.
You wish you rolled over a leprechaun.
Yeah, because I could have taken all the gold.
911, I just hit a leprechaun.
Leprechauns are real, dude.
Yeah.
We never toured it. We split up all the gold and lived happy lives. Now, it was a strange thing, and it was like this full color spectrum went right through the car.
Huh. That's kind of awesome.
It was amazing. I never thought it would ever be possible.
Yeah, we've been fortunate here with our offices in Seattle, based on where they're facing. We've seen tons of double rainbows. Probably more, I've seen more rainbows in Seattle than I've ever seen anywhere else in my life. Obviously, the sun, the showers,
the weather contributes a lot.
The things, but typically you'd see one every once in a while on the East Coast. But there are times you'll see double rainbows over Capitol Hill. Just looking at that,
well, that's Capitol Hill.
Wow.
Do you think that? How long ago did you drive through the rainbow? Which is such a ridiculous statement.
I know. It was in the 1980s, and we were just a bunch of teenagers, so we weren't drunk or on drugs or anything. We were just driving along the road, dropping kids off, at each other's houses, and it just, you tell people, they don't believe you, but it happened. There were 4 of us to substantiate it. I'm still in touch with some of my friends from high school. Going to the reunion this summer, so we'll talk about it. Remember that time we drove through the rainbow, and then everybody will be like, yeah. And the other kids that are at the reunion, oh, come on.
What were you on? What were you smoking?
No, I was a clean kid, and so were all my friends. We didn't drink and do drugs, and we all saw it. All four of us.
What made you change your tune on the drinking and the drugs?
Life.
Okay, all right. I know you turned that corner eventually.
I didn't get that.
Yeah.
I didn't get that pot of gold.
Right.
Now I'm bitter.
Right. Yeah, we know how it works, man.
In all of your years of driving, what's the craziest thing that happened? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Morgan. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, bitches.
Hola.
So it was lunchtime. I was driving through a school zone to go get some lunch. So high school kids were out walking. I was going like 20 because the flashing lights were going, and I saw these three kids to my right. One just literally turned and ran in the street, and I had no time to stop or do anything. I hit her. She dented my hood, and she was carrying a red Slurpee, and for a half second I thought I splattered her brains on my windshield.
Oh my God!
What? And, kicker is also all three of those kids got jaywalking tickets. I didn't even get in trouble.
Really?
Well, yeah. Do you think they did that on purpose, or they just weren't paying attention?
No. Well, shoot. I don't know if she's trying to get a settlement or something, but I was watching them because I was going slow. She literally just turned and ran in this road. Like, I don't know what they're doing. Idiot kids. I don't know.
I mean, did she, when you hit her, I'm assuming you came to a stop and then rolled her over. So, I mean, did she pop up from her injuries? Did she keep laying there?
No, she popped up.
Okay, 20 miles an hour, it's not the worst in the world.
It's not the worst.
But it doesn't mean it can't do damage.
Yeah, no, she did go to the hospital, but she was fine.
Well, yeah.
Well, thank goodness you paid attention and we're going 20.
20 miles an hour, yeah, for sure. But that's one thing now. Maybe it's just because I have kids, but like, seriously, dude, slow down in school.
We want to slow the flock down.
Yeah, even on the weekends, because a lot of times, a lot of kids just gather again at the school, right? To figure out where they're going to go next. It seems like there's always activity around the school. When I was growing up, I'm in the car with my dad, and same kind of thing. 3 kids end up running out in the traffic. Everyone kind of slams on their brakes. My father's like, Jesus, man, stupid kids, blah, blah, blah. Well, the next day, we're taking the same route home, same 3 kids. They do it again. So now my father, I can't say he knew that they're kind of playing chicken, but he firmly believed that they were. And he gunned the car, man. He was going to run these kids down, and he clipped the back of one of the kids' denim jackets. And I'm looking at my father like, what? And he goes, clearly they don't teach the laws of physics in school, so I'm going to teach them. So, Jesus, man.
Where our building is located on Fifth Avenue, it's one way all the way till you get to Marion, which is the corner that we're on. And then there are buses that come up the other side to pick people up, and so it becomes a 2-lane road there. But that's where that begins. We were outside smoking one day, and the bus probably going 20 miles an hour, Metro bus. This guy did not think to look to the left because typically traffic does not come from the other area. He takes one step out, man, and I will never forget the sound of that man hitting in front of that bus and then watching him be launched in the air about 5 feet. It was like a rag doll being thrown.
Right.
He popped right up. He sat right up. He stood up.
That's the benefit of drugs.
He walked over to the sidewalk. He might have kneeled down for a minute or whatever.
Sure.
But, they finally came and checked him out, and he's like, no, I don't need any medical attention.
I don't want medical attention.
Walked away.
Yeah.
I was like, golly. In all of your years of driving, what's the craziest thing that's happened? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Alex. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
Hey, so on New Year's of 2022, I was leaving a buddy's house up in Gold Bar, coming down Highway 2. It was probably 12:30 in the morning. They say keep an eye out for drunk people, especially on that day. So I'm just looking at all the cars coming at me, right? I saw maybe 5 or 6 of them, and that's about it. No, everything was fine, no issues whatsoever. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, boom, I got hit from the back. I was doing 60 on the highway, and somebody hit me hard enough to total out my 3/4-ton pickup.
And you were going 60.
Did they drive away?
Yeah.
Oh.
I continued to drive away, which was pretty wild, or was still driving after the impact, right? The other guy was down in the ditch. And he was in a Volkswagen Touareg, and I was in a Dodge Diesel. And on impact, both the driver and passenger seat, are the backs of our seats snapped, and we went backwards. And our mirrors, both the mirrors, folded in from the impact.
Jeez, man.
So,
Did he not have lights on?
It was pretty. Nope, no headlights on. That
I was going to say, you
can
can see somebody coming up at that velocity no matter what. I mean, even if you're...
Right, but where you're driving, he did not have lights on. You might as well drive with your eyes closed.
There were no lights on the highway.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I know about where you're at.
Yeah, this was 2 miles before Monroe, and no lights on the highway or nothing, and just got smacked. And then, obviously, it's pitch black. I just got hit by a definite drunk driver. I'm not pulling over on the side of the road, so I called 911, basically talked to him, told him what happened, and I just rolled into town and pulled over at the first driveway on the left. And turns out the guy was like 65 years old. It was his 4th DUI, no insurance. It was fun.
Did your insurance cover your new truck for you?
No, they did give me they tried to cheat me out quite a bit, and then
an insurance company?
And
come on.
Yeah, right. Well, the wild thing was they offered me like $6,000 to start with, and I said no, that's ridiculous. They said we'll relook at it, and then they offered me $15,000.
Okay. So enough to at least put a decent down payment on a car.
Yeah. So and then it all worked out for me.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Man, 4
I mean, look,
DUIs.
we could do commercials. We do commercials for the advocates, but like, it's not a joke.
That's it.
They're going to lowball you. And I remember getting
time.
rear-ended with my aunt and uncle in an Uber, and I wasn't friends with Kenny and Donnie then, so I didn't know. And yeah, the insurance company called me and were like, "How do you feel?" I was like, "I feel pretty okay." I'm like, well, you know what? We'll just send you $300.
$300.
Right.
You.
So of course I went, yeah, sure. And then, like 2 weeks later, you realize your neck or something hurts.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, yeah, like I fell for it too.
$300.
$300. But, at the time, I'm like, late 20s, like, sweet.
And you feel fine.
Right.
So
It's like 2 days later, like, I feel fine.
In all your years of driving, what's the craziest thing that's happened? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Molly. Welcome to the men's room.
Hello.
Hola.
I just want to tell you guys, I am such a huge fan. I've been listening to you guys every day since I was young. I am so excited. I'm talking to you. It's crazy.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
How young?
Well, my mom and dad were both pretty into rock music, so I'd say about 3 years old.
Damn. And how old are you now?
I am going to be 26.
All right.
There you go.
Well, you're still young.
Yeah.
And we're not. That's
Right,
the
exactly.
crazy thing about same amount of time, but now we're not.
We look like ass now.
So what crazy thing happened, Molly?
All right. Well, I was on I-5 headed towards Shelton, and my brother was in the back seat, and all of a sudden he goes, whoa, 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 you guys slow down. We need to catch up to this car. There's something wrong with this girl. She's making a weird face. So we slow down, and the car pulls up next to us, and all of a sudden the guy's head pops out of the chick's lap while she's driving. And pretty sure oral sex was happening driving down I-5.
So your brother in her face. Your brother thought like she's having a stroke or something, trying to be a good Samaritan.
That's why that's not why you never want to film yourself having sex, right? Because you don't want to see what you look like.
No, you really not your face.
I thought she was being kidnapped or something. Turns out,
you're right.
Yep. He was like, yes, something's going on. I don't understand. And then his head popped up, and we all started dying laughing. They were laughing. It was great.
Jen, huh? There's a positive driving story.
Yes, indeed.
In all your years of driving, what's the craziest thing that happened? 206-803-ROCK.
My 13-year-old acts like a puppy again. Almost overnight, she's a different dog.
Perfect poops. When people switch their dog's food to the farmer's dog, the effects can seem like magic. But there's no magic involved. It's simply real meat and vegetables with all the nutrients dogs need, instead of highly processed pellets. No tricks, just smarter, healthier pet food delivered in packs portioned for your dog. It's amazing what real food can do. Get 50% off your first order at thefarmersdog.com/no-magic.
From executive producer Jimmy Kimmel.
What's up, team? Just two people can't launch a brand. It takes a village.
We are MMD Hollywood.
Wowee.
Which stands for medical marijuana.
Due to restrictions, we can't tell you everything about our new reality series. But what we can say is the idea behind it is fully baked. High Hopes. Streaming 420 on Hulu.
Listening to your favorite podcast? That's smart. Earning your degree online from Southern New Hampshire University? That's really smart. With 24/7 access to coursework, no set class times, and dedicated student support, you can go to school when and where it works for you. Low online tuition means you can even do it for less. And dedicated student support means we'll be with you from day one to graduation and beyond. Join a community of learners just like you. Go to snhu.edu today to start your free application.
This is a promotional message for Alexia Sweet Potato Fries, and in the process of elucidating you on all the wondrous virtues Alexia Sweet Potato Fries have to offer, I intend to do so in a prodigious manner befitting of such a superlative side. That's because all Alexia creations are creatively crafted, from sweet potato fries that accomplish a delicate balance of sweet and savoury, without GMOs or superfluous additives, to the eloquent lexicon of our advertisements, like this one, because every Alexia experience is intended to feel creatively crafted and exceptional without exception. Alexia's Sweet Potato Fries. Do procure them in your grocer's freezer.
99.9 KISW. The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill.
Who Sucks Less on the way right after emails on our question. In all of your years of driving, what is the craziest thing that has happened? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Robert. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Liquor and Whores.
Liquor and Whores.
So I was on that quick hold. I thought of a story on the East Coast that I didn't tell Mike, but I do like Mike, so I'll start with the one that I told him about.
All right.
I was driving. Are you there?
We're here. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I was driving I-5 south in front of the Tacoma Mall probably 20 years ago in a 79 Z28 Camaro in the fast lane. I look up ahead in the northbound lanes in the fast lane. I see this car, and it's just blowing sparks. Blowing sparks. I was like, weird, what happened there? And second later, the tire of his car almost took my mirror off.
How close did it get to your car? A couple of feet, I'm guessing?
A couple of millimeters.
Oh, is that close?
Yeah, I thought it was going to rip my mirror off, and it bounced right next to me, and I thought I was dead.
Did you get?
That was coming down the road had lost his tire, and it shot over the Jersey barrier.
I was going to say, so the car was coming from the other side. You see the sparks, but the sparks are actually coming your direction.
Ah, right.
All right, that makes sense.
Yeah, on the northbound side, and I'm going south.
Seen a lot of those dash cam videos, man, where something just starts rolling down the road.
Yeah, that back in the day, we wish we had those.
Oh, considering this, the car that you were driving would probably be the best car on the road to deflect anything over the top of the vehicle. It's low to the ground.
That's a true fact.
You know what I mean? The hood is low. It's long. If there's a car out there that can survive that kind of impact, that would be the best one to have.
It doesn't mean it will.
Right.
It just ups your chances.
Right.
Yeah.
Minus the windshield.
Correct. I mean, you're going to do some damage, but all things considered, that's different than driving a Volkswagen bus or something with a flat front.
The worst freaking thing.
There's a lot of cars out there that, one of those big ass trucks that people drive that has the big front grill on it, man.
Yeah.
It's going straight through there.
And what was your story from the East Coast, you said?
So I was in Tennessee, mid-'90s, back in the heat wave days. We were putting some cladding on the new scoreboard for the University Volunteers, and we had flown into Memphis and just got a rental car, me and a buddy, and we were heading to Knoxville, which, oh my goodness, that's a school of women.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
It's kind of known for that.
Oh my goodness.
We were heading up the highway, and an emergency alert comes on, and we're not prone to this, and blah, blah, blah. There's a raging thunderstorm, I-84 in Tennessee somewhere. And I look over and I said, I think we're on that road. And this huge black cloud comes over us as we're driving up. And I'm like, we're from Seattle. A little bit of rain ain't going to kill us. And it starts raining, and you physically cannot see anything.
I would say that.
Yeah, it's a much different world.
It's a different rain, yeah.
It is.
Yeah, it just, and then I thought we got rear-ended. Boom! Almost felt a jolt. Big, huge flash. And I don't think I did get hit by lightning, but I think the car might have, or it was right behind us. and it blew my mind.
Yeah, dude, it is different there. It is much, much different
blew my mind about Knoxville, and this was before we moved to Seattle. So, I was 25, 26 the time that I was in Knoxville and drove through it. Well, they have a Space Needle because they had the World Fair in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Yeah.
It's not nearly like ours. It's a little bit smaller. But
I'm with you. That kind of surprised me when I saw it.
Like when you enter the town, you're like, oh my God, it's Seattle.
I know.
I mean, because the only Space Needle that I know Toronto's got one, but it's a different shape.
But that's the CN Tower,
Yeah,
right?
it's a different structure, but this one is a little bit more, it looks a little bit more like the one we have
And
here.
the difference is, that Toronto, you're
Also,
not surprised when you see it.
Yeah, this is not a major, Knoxville is a college town. It does not have the biggest skyline in the world.
No.
So when you drive through there and you're like, oh my God, why would they put that there? And then they realize, World Fair, that's what they do.
And that's about
and
it.
you go, oh, that is weird. It just looks really out of place. I don't know what it is. It's just like, this is strange.
Knoxville is the only place, too, where, not the only, but one of the only places I've ever been where they're actively recruiting you. Like cab drivers, Uber drivers. Did you have fun? Actually, we had a good time. Please come back.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Seriously, man.
Yeah, like we took a cab to the airport and I asked the dude about the space and he was like, come back. Like, we get people here for the football games, but there's a lot of other stuff to do and this and that. But I mean, between Nashville or even Memphis,
right?
Knoxville's not high up on the list.
They're not going to get this. They're way down the pecking order as far as the places you would visit in Tennessee.
Yeah,
it doesn't even cross your mind.
I went for a football game because it's legendary, but I can't imagine I'd end up in Knoxville for any other reason.
Any other reason.
In all your years of driving, what's the craziest thing that happened? 206-803-ROCK.
By the way, a text came in and says, hey, Ted, just saw a random guy playing the ukulele in his car, driving.
Well, he should be doing that, but he's much better than I am.
Or he's not. We just don't know. No guarantees he's good. Hello, Richard. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, guys.
Hola.
Hey, appreciate the guys' show.
Hey, thank you.
Every day.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you. Keeps us employed.
My story starts, I was newly married back in 87, 88. Back in California, I used to drive tow truck. And I...
Killed some brain cells?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Tow truck driver.
I picked up this little two-door Spitfire, little MG, weighs about 20 pounds, and I got up behind this beer truck. It was waiting to turn in to make a delivery, and I got impatient. I turned the wheel all the way to the left and waited for him to turn, and I stood on the gas, and I looked over, and I saw this little Spitfire crossing 2 lanes of traffic. I said, wow, that looks like the car I'm towing. And it was. So I threw the tow truck in park, threw on the lights, and went running across. Luckily there was no light, no traffic. Threw open the door and got it to stop. Luckily, next to the curb on the right-hand side. So then I had to try to hook up to it again. And it took me 20 minutes to get it away from the curb to even hook it up to it.
What did you do?
It was a mess.
When I grew up, my dad used to love those types of cars. And honest to God, I feel like you put a little ass into it, you could physically lift the back end. I mean, he's not kidding. That car, I feel like you could tuck it on your arm like you're carrying a textbook and just carry the damn thing to wherever you're going.
Yeah, it didn't weigh much at all.
And that is why it slipped off the back of your tow truck. Is that the only time you had something dislodged from a tow?
Oh, no.
Oh,
not at all. I did it for like 3 years.
I bet you saw some messed up stuff, though.
Oh, yeah.
What's the most memorable?
One guy we used to, it was a Shell station, had 4 tow trucks. This one guy used to race around town, race by the station, but he never bought gas there. And one night, I got a call at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and the dispatch said there was a fatality. Well, I'm still asleep. It didn't click in my brain, So I got up and went there, and I roll up, and the cops are there, and they said, "Don't run over the brains."
Oh God,
Jesus!
Yeah,
man. Okay.
There was like 5 globs in the road. His car was upside down. I could see his legs hanging out the driver door, but I couldn't see his head.
Yeah, that's not good.
Jesus, man.
Not good.
Hey, don't run over the brains. I will do my best.
Yep. Jesus.
He's not kidding about the Spitfire. They are such light cars. And again, my dad loved them, but my mother was always concerned. She's like, Robert, if anything hit, she's like, you could hit a kid on a bike and the kid would be asking you if you're okay.
So when I was in college, there was a parking lot in front of the facilities building, which is right beside the football stadium, and that's where you practice, that's where you lift, that's where the training room is and all that stuff. And like a lot of places, there's premier parking in the front. There's a sign for the head coach. There's a sign for the head trainer. There's a sign for all the stuff. And we had one player in particular who was planning on going to the pros.
Okay.
Did
he have a parking space as well?
He did not have a parking space, but he parked wherever he wanted to.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. He was that guy, and he had
quarterback?
Yeah. And he
that's a good guess.
Yeah,
Out of 53 players, I can't believe you nailed the one.
Yeah, and he had a 300 ZX, okay?
All right.
Which is still a pretty heavy car.
Yeah.
It's not light. It was a 2-door, but it was still pretty heavy. Well, just like anything else, you're in college, there's a lot of pranksters on there. So the offensive linemen, and they would get like 7 or 8 of them.
Mm-hmm.
They would go out into the parking lot and pick Major's car up, and they would move the front end to a light post that was in the parking lot, the nighttime lights, right? And then right beside that was the outdoor practice facility, and they had what they call sleds that are like 6 or 7 pads deep.
Yeah.
It's like the whole line pushes the sled down the field, okay? So they would, and they're heavy. They are real heavy.
Oh, yeah, like the 5-man sled.
Yeah, they would pick that up, and then they would put it right on his ass, on his bumper. So they pin his car in with the offensive line sled and the light post in front. So they pushed the thing in. So basically, he couldn't get his car out.
Yeah.
And they did this nonstop because he always would park in those. And it was always like Jacob's the offensive line coach. He'd go, hey, you guys need to get out there and move Major's car because he's parked in head coach's spot. And they loved it. Like anytime he
got it.
And he never learned his lesson. He always tried to park in the front of the facility.
Really?
And they would, and he would just come in like, dog, like, what's up with my car? You know, like, who keeps moving my car? So then he have to get like,
he never pieced it together.
He knew somebody was doing it. All meetings are different. So the quarterbacks go into their own meeting, all right?
Right.
They're in there for an hour. There's like 4 of them in there, 5 of them in there. They're watching their own stuff. Offensive linemen, they're with their coach in another room. Well, during those meetings, the offensive line coach go, all right, we got to go, man. So they would bolt out, and then they would move his car.
Okay, so his perception, you've been in a meeting, like, I
don't know who could do it because I have been in here for an hour, and when I came back out, man, my car is like pinned in between a light post and a sled.
Sounds like a smart dude.
Yeah.
Well, again, another prime example of quarterbacks are almost always going to have a captain.
Yeah.
But, like, it's just because they're the quarterback.
Of course. Of course.
He'd also signed with someone way before.
Right.
No, but I'm just saying, there's a lot of time. I mean, again, you're Ravens fans, right?
Yeah.
No offense, but to Hasselbeck, but nobody was or Trent Dilfer. That's Ray Lewis's team. Dilfer got to be a captain. But, like, that's what I'm saying. Quarterbacks automatically get that C. And it's like, all right, well, if your own offensive line is messing with your car.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, yeah.
They loved it.
I'm like, no offense to Trent Dilfer.
Yeah.
None taken, brother.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Yeah. In all your years of driving, what's the craziest thing that happened? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Michael. Welcome to the men's room.
Liquor and whores.
Liquor and whores.
So I got a good one for you guys. I used to deliver a lot for a waterproofing company in downtown Seattle when they were working on all that stuff right there on Westlake. And I pulled out one time after the bus and went by. That's a little tight. I kind of eased my way out a little, and when I got out into the lane and looked off my driver's side door right there was the duck. And needless to say, I stabbed it.
Oh, you hurt the duck, or the duck hurt you?
Oh, yeah, it was right there. I was looking almost underneath it at that time.
So what is the repercussion for piercing the duck, so to speak? It sounds like a sexual euphemism.
So that machine is actually calibrated to take a 50 caliber bullet. Those are the ones that used to run in downtown Seattle with the tours. If you remember what I'm talking about?
Until the Aurora incident.
Right, but they're landing crafts from World War II.
Yeah. Right.
That's exactly it. Well, when I hit the pedal, because it was coming right at me, it took about a second and a half for my old Chevy pickup truck to engage. And when it took off, it was probably the thing that saved my life, because it caught me between the tire and the cab right there, and it spun me around about 4 times doing like tilt-a-whirl. I was over on the other side of the road, up on the sidewalk. Holy smokes. That was, yeah.
I have to be honest.
Did you poop a little?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I was pretty freaked out for a little bit there.
Yeah,
sure.
Everybody
helped me out onto the sidewalk and, calm down. Oh, you just got, it's like you get the adrenaline starts pumping for sure.
I tell you what, I miss the Ducks. I realized that from a financial standpoint that they could not maintain anything after that wreck on Aurora, that people passed on and all that. And the upkeep was probably a lot. But I took that tour a few times. And in Fremont, they would come and they would kind of land either in or come out in Fremont. And there was just something, I don't know, there was just something about getting off the bus, starting to walk home. The duck goes by. There's all these people in there blowing their little duck horns. They're all having a good time. They got music blaring. There's a guy who's got a wig on and like some Elvis sunglasses, like, and this is Fremont, and he's like doing all this stuff.
I mean, I like the duck.
I did too.
What is your next gig when the Ducks shut down and you are a Dutch driver, right? So you're loaded with bad jokes, and I mean bad jokes respectably, right?
Right.
And all that kind, because you're a showman. Obviously, you're driving, but you're also a showman. Where do you go next? What's the next thing to apply for? What's the other place you go?
To be honest with you, I think that you will go work at a museum and you do tours of places, because basically what those guys are doing is a riding tour.
That's exactly.
And they know everything about every place that, you didn't even know was relevant, whether you're going by the Sleepless in Seattle Boathouse or the Cholula Glass Museum on the water or whatever it is, or how old the George Washington Bridge is and the last boats, whatever the history is of the area.
You know it.
You learn a lot about that.
Well, there's still, we live here, so we wouldn't know about it. Like the Ducks, my mom always wanted to do them, so I did them. But I would do the Christmas one a couple times. But also, there's other tour buses and companies. I think those people probably
that's a good point.
would migrate over there. But we just live here, so you wouldn't think about it. But honestly, the ride the Ducks, I mean, I had already been living in this city for 10 years, and I learned stuff I had no idea about.
Exactly. So I believe they have them in San Diego. I think they have them in Philadelphia. They call them something different, but they're the same vehicle.
Remember one sunk in Baltimore?
Oh, God, that's right.
That would be a bummer because the water's
there, bro. We're not worried about you drowning. We're worried about what you came in contact with.
Is there any more Ride the Ducks?
Yes. They're still
actual ducks.
Oh, the ducks here in Seattle, no.
No. I know they're not in Seattle, but
they still call them
does
ducks.
Does that company still exist? Are they still out there in other cities?
Yes. I don't know if it's the same company, but they name them different things.
All right.
So when you go to different towns, they have different names depending. I don't know why we got the Ducks. We got the Ducks. I'm sure there might be another duck somewhere else.
Well, there were ducks in Seattle, but there were ducks in Baltimore. You're as far apart as you could physically be in this country. Apparently, duck was just if you have water.
Well, yeah. I mean, that was like the giant company.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, coming to the return of Who Sucks Less, and we got your emails on the way next from the men's room at KISW.com.
My 13-year-old acts like a puppy again. Almost overnight, she's a different dog.
Perfect poops. When people switch their dog's food to the farmer's dog, the effects can seem like magic. But there's no magic involved. It's simply real meat and vegetables with all the nutrients dogs need, instead of highly processed pellets. No tricks, just smarter, healthier pet food delivered in packs portioned for your dog. It's amazing what real food can do. Get 50% off your first order at thefarmersdog.com/no magic.
From executive producer Jimmy Kimmel.
What's up, team? Just 2 people can't launch a brand. It takes a village.
We are MMD Hollywood.
Wow,
which stands for medical marijuana.
Due to restrictions, we can't tell you everything about our new reality series. But what we can say is the idea behind it is fully baked. High Hopes. Streaming 4/20 on Hulu.
Listening to your favorite podcast? That's smart. Earning your degree online from Southern New Hampshire University? That's really smart. With 24/7 access to coursework, no set class times, and dedicated student support, you can go to school when and where it works for you. Low online tuition means you can even do it for less. And dedicated student support means we'll be with you from day one to graduation and beyond. Join a community of learners just like you. Go to snhu.edu today to start your free application.
You're dedicated to building a bright financial future. Grow your investments with Millie Bank's high-yield savings account. Earn a highly competitive annual percentage yield with no fees or minimums. Getting started is simple too. Download the app, link your account, and start growing your money. Welcome to a new way to save more for the things that matter most. Welcome to Millie Bank. Visit millie.bank or download the Millie app today.
My 13-year-old acts like a puppy again. Almost overnight, she's a different dog.
Perfect poops. When people switch their dog's food to the farmer's dog, the effects can seem like magic. But there's no magic involved. It's simply real meat and vegetables with all the nutrients dogs need, instead of highly processed pellets. No tricks, just smarter, healthier pet food delivered in packs portioned for your dog. It's amazing what real food can do. Get 50% off your first order at thefarmersdog.com/no magic.
Listening to your favorite podcast? That's smart. Earning your degree online from Southern New Hampshire University? That's really smart. With 24/7 access to coursework, no set class times, and dedicated student support, you can go to school when and where it works for you. Low online tuition means you can even do it for less. And dedicated student support means we'll be with you from day one to graduation and beyond. Join a community of learners just like you. Go to snhu.edu today to start your free application.
From executive producer Jimmy Kimmel.
What's up, team? Just two people can't launch a brand. It takes a village.
We are MMD Hollywood.
Wow,
which stands for medical marijuana.
Due to restrictions, we can't tell you everything about our new reality series. But what we can say is the idea behind it is fully baked. High Hopes. Streaming 4/20 on Hulu.
What's up? It's your boy, The Ted Smith from The Men's Room. And did you know I have a podcast? Well, I do. The Podcast. New episodes uploaded every Wednesday on the Odyssey app.
The debauchery rolls on. You're listening to The Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Who Sucks Less is on the way, but first time for a few emails from The Men's Room at KISW.com.
You've got mail.
You've got mail. A few from our driving question, guys. My stepmom was, let's see here. I was 15, and we were on our way to Salt Lake City to pick up my younger brothers from their mom's house. This was roughly a 3-hour drive that took us through a canyon, and my stepmom, ever the patient driver, speeding around an RV on a blind curve toward the end of the canyon.
Always a good idea.
Suddenly, we hear a loud bang, and the car is spinning, flips 3 times, lands upside down, while all I can hear is my own screaming. I opened my eyes, and I kid you not, my first thought was, damn, where did my earbuds go? I find them, find my glasses, come out totally fine, minus a couple cuts on my arm and legs from crawling through glass. Stepmom, fine too. Later on, I start getting my phone blown up with calls and texts because the news had apparently decided that we both had died.
Oh, God.
And everyone who knew where I was going called me and my stepmom freaking out. Liquor and Horrors, gents. That from Nathan. By the way, when we went back to see the remains, I spotted my stepmom's cigarettes before her and scored a free pack. So I called a win-win.
Hey, there you go. Found my earbuds
Right.
and got her smokes.
Howdy, fellers. Last year on my way to work northbound on I-67, right before Renton, I got off the 405. Jesus, this is Californian. I came around a ramp. We all zipper merged like we're supposed to, and out of nowhere, this jackass comes from the far left lane, cuts off everyone to get to the 405 north ramp. In doing so, front of my car was sideswiped, and the mother effer didn't even stop after hitting me. They cut off a semi getting on the northbound ramp. I pulled over, called them, and officers showed up 5 minutes later. That from the Californians.
I see that all the time at that particular intersection.
Guys, I had an interesting moment in November as I was nearing Bellingham. I heard a bang. Then a tanker truck a little ways ahead of me began skidding off onto the shoulder. At this point, I was just an observer to someone else's misfortune. Then I saw a light post falling across the path ahead of me on I-5. With no time to spare, I was able to fit my car between the guardrail and the just fallen light post. It was surreal. That from Craig.
That'll make you poop.
Yeah. Not so crazy, kind of funny. My first car when I was 16, a piece of crap VW Bug. Driving about an hour from home, it starts dumping rain. A few minutes later, the wipers quit. So I pull over under an overpass trying to wait out the rain. It did not quit. So I pulled the radio out of my dashboard so I can then reach through the dash. I disconnected the wipers from the motor so I could reach through the radio hole and move the wipers by hand. Did that all the way home, moving my arm back and forth, back and forth. Had to keep switching arms because it got tiring. Love the show, guys. That from Mark.
Ted, didn't your dad do that in one of his cars?
Yep. Did it for a while.
But he
the
put a
wiper,
string, right?
He put a string on him, so he would tug on them. So it's the funny joke. If he showed up and his left arm was wet, you knew it was raining.
Pachel's happy 16th birthday to my son, Cohen. He smells bad. He's not great at skateboarding, and I'm a way better snowboarder than him. But with that being said, he's turned into a great young man. Drive safe, buddy, and happy birthday. He just got home from Disneyland. So can I get Mickey and Goofy talking about turning 16 and skateboarding? Thanks, fellas. And what up, Ted? That from B. Walsh from Monroe.
What up, Walsh?
Well, gosh. We know that you just came down to Disneyland because as soon as you showed up, old Mickey pulled me aside and said, hey, that's the kid who sucks on the skateboard. And man, oh man, do we laugh. But in spite of how poorly you skateboard, we made it a point to make sure that you had a good old time.
The funny thing is, a lot of people don't know this, but if you're actually good at skateboarding, it is allowed at the Magic Kingdom. But since you're so terrible at it, you weren't allowed to do it.
You kind of ruined it for everybody else. Tony Hawk was there and said, Tony, you can't do it. This kid's here is terrible.
Tony said, I don't work with people this bad.
Also, go get a drink and a little bite to eat up at Gino's in Monroe.
Hey,
Gino's. Guys, I want to wish my boyfriend Hendrik a very happy 23rd birthday. A perfectly handsome, hardworking, and weird man you are, Hendrik. I'm proud to be your girlfriend, even though you're a massive nerd. So I'll fix my mistake from last year. Let's get a Pat Sajak and the Dirty Germans for my man.
She wants a D, and she's going to get one.
Yeah, you call him a nerd, but one thing we know about nerds is that they like to study what it is they appreciate. So, at least for us in the bedroom, he is quite the catch.
Yeah, I'm sure the first 2 times he was a little too excited. You know what I mean? You have to clean up that little upper part of your thigh.
Guys, long-time listener, used to listen back in the day as a kid hanging out with my dad while he worked on the car. Please come visit the 884 again this summer. Lastly, a shout-out to Ted, Go Sounders, and the 884, proudly carrying Men's Room IPA from Black Raven Brewery.
Correct.
On draft, I want to give a championship tactical birthday shout-out to my former coworker and lifetime friend, Coop. He's one of the good ones. 10-4, buddy. Help me celebrate with a big old bong rip. You like that? And finish off with Thrill talking about his dog, Bodie, a man's best friend. Thanks, guys, and rock on.
You like that? You like that? Well, I don't know anything about your dog, Bodie, but my dog, Molly, I will say, it is, in fact, man's best friend. And every single day when I look at my dog and think, you're man's best friend, I go, man, oh, man, I need new friends. That's as long as, in fact, just a side note, this morning, my wife rarely does this, but she took the dog with her to drop off the kids at school this morning, right? Dog's all excited to go, freaks out, whatever. She gets back, she tells me, your son said, if this dog, because apparently the dog just lost its mind in the car the entire ride there, and she said, your son looked at me and said, Mom, if the dog gets out, I disavow all knowledge.
That's it.
I won't even claim it.
He already knows it's going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
Guys, want to wish my beautiful fiancée, Becky, a very happy birthday.
Becky.
Big old bong rip. Mickey and Goofy talking about our trip to the Grand Canyon, and the Dirty Germans talking about skinless bangers and delicious Men's Room IPA. Thanks, guys. We love the show.
Well, gals, one thing that we know about old Becky, it's kind of crazy when she said she visited the Grand Canyon, because we know that means she was masturbating.
Yeah, she has the term Becky, and you always know she's always jealous of the other woman's butts.
Guys, my girlfriend Alita turns 39 today. She is simply the best. Could she get a shout-out from the sexy Australian Ted? A greasy animal fart and the captain telling us what the Pillsbury Doughboy is really like off camera. Love you, Tootie. That from Nate.
Yeah, Ted here from Melbourne. Tootie, huh? Can read from that email your boy's into it. So tonight he won't just be down under. He's coming in from the west side, Perth.
Captain.
Ooh, well, ahoy there. It's funny you bring up the old Pillsbury Doughboy with the cameras on rolling. He's not super insufferable, but he does like to brag about his breadsticks and his donuts. And I was one of the original Yeasty Boys. In fact, he sang lead on Fight for Your Right to Pastry. But we keep him around because he gets the purest cocaine any of us mascots have ever done. Grunge berries.
Hey, guys, please wish Darren Mangina a happy birthday. Please have the Dirty Germans provide advice on meeting new friends. Darren's moving to Cooley City in a few weeks to be a rock farmer. Best wishes. That from John, Chulsu, and Rob.
Is that where Cooley High is?
That was my only thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be a rock farmer, I assume you must be very...
Chulsa. Got it, sorry.
Yeah, very patient and very smart. But as far as meeting new friends, simply use your last name as your nickname and tell them, I'm Manjana.
Yeah, see, working with the rocks, which is funny. So lots of times when I'm excited, people to go, something's like a rock.
Yeah.
And so I put on this Bob Seger song, We Make Sweet Love.
And guys, I'm turning 55 today. Would love some farts and some shotgun gets from Thrill. That would be great. And maybe some dad jokes from Miles. Much love and blessings to all. Stay safe. That from Jay.
Smell it.
Get.
Smell it.
Get. Okay, get. Dad jokes. Guys, I fell in love with a girl who only knew 4 vowels.
4 vowels, that's it.
She never knew I existed. I accidentally passed my wife a glue stick instead of her chapstick. She's still not talking to me.
Oh, I's a vowel.
Yeah. And I got mugged by 6 dwarves last night. Yeah, not happy. All right, guys, here you go. Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday to you, to you, to you.
Ya's a Dirty Germans brought to you by Men's Room Original Sausage. Available through Uli's World Famous Sausage, mensroomlive.com, and other fine retailers. Schweinefleisch.
Thank you, Mama. And a couple extra emails real quick here as we pick up on some of the locations that are selling the brand new Men's Room IPA from Black Raven Brewing Company. Oh, guys.
Oh, I could go for one right now.
Found the Men's Room IPA, the Safeway in Lacey on Pacific Avenue was the end of the beer aisle there on the corner. That's a good spot.
That you want that more than they call that the end cap.
Yes. I also picked up the last case of original ale. I never pick an IPA to drink, but this is a really good beer. Great job, Black Raven. That from Brian.
It is, man. Even if you don't like IPAs, I mean, just try it. You will be surprised.
Guys, I picked up the new Men's Room IPA at the liquor store on Joint Base Lewis McCord.
All right.
Not refrigerated yet, but looking forward to trying it when it gets cold. That from Mike. Hopefully, Mike, that turned out okay when it got cold.
Come on, Joint Base, refrigerate that stuff, dude. If anyone deserves it, it's the cats on the base.
All the guys found your beer at the 76 station on 172nd and Smoky Point. Like all Black Raven beers, this is exceptional. A nice, tasty session IPA and very easy to drink. Cheers, guys. That from Jeff.
I keep proving it's easier to drink to my wife. Every night.
And one more. Guys, congrats on the new beer. I'm a listener from Baston. Love the show. Is there a way to get this beer shipped out here? I tried the Black Raven website, but they couldn't ship it yet. Thanks. That from Fred. Fred, no word on that yet. We don't know the...
Look, they're working on what they can work on. That much we do know as a fact, but to ship things nationally, if it is alcohol, and it doesn't matter what state you start in, trying to get it out of state, it is an unbelievable myriad of bureaucracy you need to go through. It doesn't mean it won't happen, but true. My God, it takes a lot.
when we can ship it to Massachusetts, I know where to be on tap first. Smith Family Beer.
I knew that was coming.
They texted me over the weekend. My cousin Dan was like, "Can we get it?" I was like, "Not yet."
But I'm going to try. All right, speaking of drinking, coming up, we will drink and toast with a shot of the day. But first,
now, the men's room wants to know who sucks less.
Yay! Time for Who Sucks Less. Stephen Throhill, you bring us 3 stories from the news each and every week. They all suck, but it's up to us to determine out of the 3 stories which one sucks the least. Now, if you happen to follow KISW on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, debate is already underway on Who Sucks Less. Yes, indeed. And as I said at the top of the show, we're calling this particular episode 2 Weddings and a Hospital Visit. So let us start in Argentina, where a man got the shock of his life after undergoing what he thought was surgery on his gallbladder, only to later learn that the doctors had performed a vasectomy instead. So earlier this week, 41-year-old Jorge Baceto, he went to the hospital in Cordoba, Argentina, for gallbladder surgery. Now, the operation was scheduled for Tuesday, February 28th, but due to circumstances out of his control, Jorge's procedure was postponed until Wednesday. Trust me, this figures into the story later. Now, that's apparently the small detail that caused the problem. On the day of the surgery, hospital staff came into the patient's room, laid him on a stretcher, and without asking him a single thing or checking his chart, they took him to the operating room. Doctors didn't bother checking his chart either, so they just performed the type of surgery that they had scheduled for that day, which is a vasectomy. When Jorge woke up from his surgery, he had no idea what had happened, but then a doctor came in to check on him. This doctor looked at his chart, and that's when they gave him the news he'd undergone a vasectomy instead of the scheduled gallbladder operation. Ooh. As they say, the man was speechless for a few moments. Then he began to panic, but he didn't have much time for that, because right after that, he was scheduled for the surgery that he was supposed to get in the first place.
Did they really put you under for a vasectomy?
I was Hang on. The story will make sense in a second. After his second surgery, Jorge wanted to know how the error had occurred and what could be done to reverse the vasectomy. And the doctors, of course, kept blaming each other for the blunder, but they also told him not to be overly dramatic, quote unquote, as he could still conceive children through artificial insemination if he wanted to, missing the fun of what it is to create a child. Now, as for the vasectomy, because of his age and the size of the severed duct, the chances of success for a reverse vasectomy were very slim, so they said, no point even trying. Quote, this is from Jorge himself, it's very strange. Because of my chart, it said gallbladder everywhere. All they had to do was read it. You didn't have to be a scientist to figure it out. I don't want to point the finger at anyone, but no one here is taking responsibility. They just keep focusing on, don't be so dramatic, because through artificial insemination, you can have a child. Now, his lawyer told reporters that the error stemmed from his client's rescheduled surgery. You see, at this particular hospital, vasectomies are usually performed on Wednesdays. So the staff at the hospital, including the doctors, just treated Jorge as another vasectomy patient instead of bothering to look at his chart. I guess that's how they do things there. The good news is he does have 2 kids, but he's like, I didn't necessarily know that I was done. Now we go to Mexico, where a Mexican woman is being accused of paying 3 quote-unquote thugs to throw red paint on her future daughter-in-law's wedding dress to stop her from marrying her son. So on February 17th, a couple managed to get married in the town of Ciudad Obregón, despite facing constant harassment.
Smooth.
Yeah, thank you. I don't know if I said it correctly.
Sounded good, though.
That's the point, Mike. You say it with authority. Now other people question. Yeah, that's exactly it. Ciudad Obregón. But he managed to get married in town there, despite facing constant harassment from the groom's family. News of the couple's plight went viral to Mexico after photos of the bride wearing a white wedding dress splattered with red paint on her big day started doing the rounds on social media. Now, according to numerous reports from sources close to the couple, as the bride was standing outside of the church where the wedding ceremony was taking place, 3 dudes showed up and splattered her with red paint while also recording the whole thing, which people assume they did it to be evidence for the person who hired them. Now, this was allegedly only the latest incident orchestrated by the groom's family to stop the couple from going through with the wedding. Now, the groom's family, they own a profitable funeral home business, and they'd been against this union to a woman that they considered inferior from the very beginning. The groom's siblings started threatening their future sister-in-law via social media. They started using fake accounts when she blocked the main ones, and whenever the groom confronted them, they denied everything. But Alexandra, she didn't come from a wealthy family herself, so the groom's family was convinced that she was only marrying him for his financial benefits, and they were determined to stop the union at any cost. So after the threats failed, they offered her a blank check to end the relationship. That didn't work either, so they continued with the harassment, spreading rumors about her online, and they actually fired the groom from the family business. But the cherry on top of the cake came on the couple's wedding day. During the pre-wedding photo session outside the church, police received an anonymous phone call about drug trafficking at the event. So a special unit was dispatched to investigate. They searched all the guests. Nothing was found. Then, as the bride was getting ready to walk down the aisle, that's when a group of 3 guys pulled up in a car in front of the church. 2 of them splattered red paint on her white wedding dress, while the third recorded the whole thing on a smartphone. While all of this was going on, the groom's mother, who many claim was the one directing the harassment, she was vacationing in Paris, France. And no one from his family attended the wedding. We'll let you do the math. And then finally, speaking of weddings, a wedding guest. This happened in Florida. He argued with the bride before assaulting her and striking multiple wedding goers with his hands and his feet, quite like a kung fu karate man. Ronte Stokes, he's a 45-year-old ex-con. He attended the nuptials of Anita Brooks, who happens to be his sister. Now, during the wedding celebration, Stokes got into a verbal altercation with the bride. The defendant battered the bride and created a disturbance at the reception, to put it mildly. After striking his 48-year-old sister, he was then escorted out of the reception hall, but on the way out, he struck several other victims, including his own 65-year-old mother, one of his nieces, his brother-in-law, and a bridesmaid. While when questioned by police, he did admit to pushing his siblings to the ground, but court records indicate that, it's going to shock you, alcohol may have played a role in this rampage. Now, he was booked into the county jail early the day after that on 5 battery counts, which were charged as felonies due to a prior felony battery conviction.
Yeah, that guy just got out of jail.
He was also hit with a misdemeanor criminal mischief rap for throwing a ceramic lawn chair into a glass door as he was being removed from the reception venue. So Stokes, who does have a lengthy rap sheet, he was convicted last month, different thing, of disorderly intoxication. He was fined $500. He's also been found guilty of possessing fentanyl and marijuana, and he spent a combined total of more than 10 years in the Florida state prisons. So those are your stories. We have the doctors in Argentina that, well, they gave you a vasectomy instead of the gallbladder surgery. We have the Mexican mother who splattered red paint on the soon bride-to-be's dress just to ruin the day for her son. And finally, the other wedding where the brother of the bride started punching people and throwing crap around.
Okay.
That gets pretty simple. Obviously, the brother who's fighting people, that's awful. Doctors can make mistakes. But the one that sucks the least, how about the mom? I think that woman is not worthy of being in their family. Throw the paint on her.
No. I think it's a mom at a wedding. They absolutely turn crazy sometimes.
Hey, the whole family said that woman don't belong.
Oh, really?
Well, remember the brothers tried to talk her out of it?
They have a family business, and they fired their son from the family business.
Okay, it still sucks the least. I agree with you, Ted. Either way, the debate continues on Who Sucks
only
Less.
because they still got married.
Yeah. If you follow KISW on Twitter, Instagram, and on Facebook. Shot of the Day's coming up. You are listening to The Men's Room.
My 13-year-old acts like a puppy again. Almost overnight, she's a different dog.
Perfect poops.
When people switch their dog's food to the farmer's dog, the effects can seem like magic. But there's no magic involved. It's simply real meat and vegetables with all the nutrients dogs need, instead of highly processed pellets. No tricks, just smarter, healthier pet food delivered in packs portioned for your dog. It's amazing what real food can do. Get 50% off your first order at thefarmersdog.com/no magic.
From executive producer Jimmy Kimmel.
What's up, team? Just 2 people can't launch a brand. It takes a village.
We are MMD Hollywood.
Wow,
which stands for medical marijuana.
Due to restrictions, we can't tell you everything about our new reality series. But what we can say is the idea behind it is fully baked. High Hopes. Streaming 4/20 on Hulu.
Listening to your favorite podcast? That's smart. Earning your degree online from Southern New Hampshire University? That's really smart. With 24/7 access to coursework, no set class times, and dedicated student support, you can go to school when and where it works for you. Low online tuition means you can even do it for less. And dedicated student support means we'll be with you from day one to graduation and beyond. Join a community of learners just like you. Go to snhu.edu today to start your free application.
You're dedicated to building a bright financial future. Grow your investments with Millie Bank's high-yield savings account. Earn a highly competitive annual percentage yield with no fees or minimums. Getting started is simple too. Download the app, link your account, and start growing your money. Welcome to a new way to save more for the things that matter most. Welcome to Millie Bank. Visit millie.bank or download the Millie app today.
99.9 KISW. The shenanigans continue. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
All right, take out a minute. So drink and toast for the shot of the day. And we do have your headlines on the way at 5:50. But first, quick check in with Mike Hawk and some of the stories and headlines he is not working on.
Thank you, Miles. 40% of people are fooled by faces generated by AI.
I would think so.
Right? And
that's, if you're doing a cursory glance at something and say, hey, man, here's Ted in Jamaica. Oh, it's cool. I didn't know he's in Jamaica. I'm not going to know.
And you're right. You do. I can usually tell there are certain things that when you look at them, especially if they're moving, that can.
Moving, you can tell, but it's like,
it's hard to. You can tell. Somebody sent me something. Look how funny this is. I was like, that's AI.
Right.
Yeah.
And those aren't real people.
Exactly. And there are certain little features that you can point out. Now, it does take you an extra half a second.
Sure. They're very good.
Because something looks like, but it's like Photoshop, or standing in front of a green screen. It takes you a second. Something's not, okay, they're on a green screen or whatever.
At this point, don't trust anything that you see. Don't trust anything that you hear.
I trust nothing.
Right. Because it's just, at this point, it's
Mike,
running
in
rampant.
fact, Mike is an android.
I am.
People have not.
I am
an android.
The first artificially intelligent generated radio host, news anchor of the Men's Room.
No, you're just A.
All right.
You're just A.
I'm just A. How'd you finish?
Just artificial. We haven't quite figured out the I part, but
tomatoes are actually a gourd.
They got an AI jock down in Portland.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
they do. It's coming for all of us. According to a Ukrainian military official, half of all the explosive shells in North Korea are duds.
From North Korea, are they shocked?
No.
You mean that Gucci watch I bought from the guy on Fifth Ave or what at Madison Avenue, New York City, is not
Hasn't
real?
he been making kind of
Canal Street?
That's
where you get good fakes.
You're right.
Hasn't he been making decently empty threads for a while now? He's always just stronger than everybody else.
He and his dad.
I believe it was I can't remember if it was him or his dad. But and I can't say he's convinced his country of this, but they have to act like they believe him.
Correct.
Won like a dunk competition.
Slam dunk competition.
Yeah,
also, he had 9 or 10 holes in one on one round of golf.
Right.
Yeah. Guy's amazing.
I'm not saying he didn't do this stuff. I just don't believe it.
And I heard secondhand from somebody, so this is probably a little bit off base, but Kim Jong-il is actually not dead. He's off in like Valhalla fighting Godzilla or something like that.
Well, of course he is. Why else would he leave the country, man?
Exactly.
Yeah, and I mean, look, there's no the other scientists aren't going there.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like other people that can make this stuff.
Correct.
They're just not there.
And also, I don't think you fact check him.
Yeah. Right.
Unless you're already on your deathbed.
Facts are what comes out of his mouth.
Yes, that's
it. An astronomer has declared that the asteroid Apophis, which is doomed to strike Earth in 2029. Yeah, 0 chance. Not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. But yeah, the only thing to worry about is something else hits it on the way. Maybe a piece breaks off. But Apophis, it's named after, and I do not remember if it's like ancient Greek, Roman, Egyptian, whatever. But like the destroyer. When you name something, the destroyer, like, yeah.
I believe the ones they see. What I can't believe is how many they don't that come in the atmosphere. Like, missed that one.
I know. Whoa!
Right.
You didn't see that one? You can see all that, but you didn't see that one?
And isn't it kind of protocol that if there is one, like we get an Armageddon situation where
don't tell people
this one's going to hit us, this is going to take us out, we won't know about it. The one that's like, oh my God, it could hit Earth. Yeah, it's not gonna.
But I mean, think about it though. If we were on the commission that made these decisions for the world, and it's international.
Sure.
I think we'd all agree. Don't tell people.
Don't tell me.
Because they go crazy if the milkshake machine is down at McDonald's. Do not tell them this.
Right.
Because if we're wrong, all you did was lead to absolute battle.
Which
if
is why,
we're right, they'll never know.
Which is why that question, the Sophie's Choice, as it were, would you rather know how you're going to die or when you're going to die? I'd rather know how. I don't want to know when. Because then you don't live, in my opinion. Especially coming up to that point.
Wait, you said you'd rather know
I think you would live more.
Maybe.
But if you know how... So they said heart attack, right? That could happen tomorrow.
But it could be murder. It could happen.
It could happen tomorrow.
It could.
But if you know the timeline on it, regardless of what it
could happen tomorrow.
You can make the most of your life.
That's the
but
problem.
But now you know. Now you know. Like, I don't need to go to work tomorrow.
I don't like the anticipation. I can't do it.
But also, what if it's just something like choking? Could you ever truly enjoy a meal again?
Dude,
this is the big one.
Because
it can happen anytime.
Even if you try
That's
to
why
do
I'd rather know the date.
I only
than
eat
how.
pudding. They're like, you're going to choke on pudding, oddly enough, and you're going to choke to death.
That's why I want the date.
The date?
Doesn't matter how I go.
What if
I
it's
just know the
post-date? Says here, you're supposed to die in 2018. Yeah.
How the hell did I live to be 78?
Yeah, it's like milk. You're good for another 5 years.
Exactly. Just tattoo it on my shoulder.
Right, the sell-by is different.
I couldn't do it. It's the same thing with the roller coasters. I can't take it when it's just slowly going up because it's the anticipation. I hate anticipation. I hate it.
Yeah, but that is kind of, I don't know. That's kind of the juice, though, too.
Juice
like
for you,
playing
Ted.
sports is fun, but part of it, too, is like, or like if you're going on stage live. Like, I like that butterfly feeling. You know what I mean? It reminds me of, like, playing a sport. Like, all right.
It's your adrenaline, right?
Yeah.
It's the worst part of the auction, Ted. It's the worst part of the auction.
But what about
beforehand?
You bet. I hate it. Now, it's not
But
necessarily
don't you secretly kind of like it?
No. I just want to
Mike's
get
like,
it done.
no, dude.
Right. I want to get there. Let's get after it. I'm ready. I just want to go.
We need to sedate Mike.
Oh,
just
God.
put him on the stage, and when you wake up, like, hey, dude, it's go time.
Like B.A.
No
Baracus.
butterflies, just go. Yeah, exactly. But think about this. People don't want to know, because what you're theorizing is they can do exactitude. But if you found out that every single person, 80% of your family lineage, died in their late 30s because of this disease, people are compelled to tell the doctors.
Sure.
Because on some level, you want to beat it, right?
Beat it.
It's not.
I mean, look, I get all my mother right now, right? She's going to turn 80 in June.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a lot of her family and my dad's side of the family, they're almost all done by early 70s, mid 70s. So she, she's older. She's like, I don't want people to. I'm like, you're on borrowed time almost, Mom. Tell them you're turning 80. Like, this should be a sense of pride.
Yes.
And I mean, this is a great thing.
I'm not making it that long.
I got it.
Hell no.
When is the last time you guys were in a fancy restaurant?
Fancy month ago.
Yeah. Oh, month ago. Fancy Miles.
Yes. Well, it was a 75th birthday.
Do you follow all the rules of the fancy restaurant?
What
Yes.
are the rules?
Yes, I do.
What was that question, Steve?
What are the rules of a fancy restaurant? Oh, my God. And BD's going to tell me.
10 things to never do at a fancy restaurant. How about asking too many questions? I'm not saying all spouses or partners are like this, but someone at my table who was not me asked, is the garlic minced or crushed? Is it fresh or from a jar? Are the entrees prepared ahead of time or when I order it? Because I don't like mushrooms, and it says it has mushrooms. They taste like dirt, and I start to gag when I think about them. Maybe you'd like a piece of bread! I hear it's very filling! I want a divorce.
Seems happy.
Does it have mushrooms? Because it says it has mushrooms.
He got one.
No, man, we just put that in there for no reason at all.
Just to push you away from it. So this is what never to do at a fancy restaurant. Anybody here, you get that bread, you get that butter, and then you just butter that dinner roll the entire thing before you start eating it.
All right. I do that.
No, you're not supposed to, Ted.
What?
Yeah, you can't do it. Proper etiquette is to tear off one bite-sized piece of bread at a time and butter it with the butter knife just before you eat it.
Oh, so they want us to use more butter?
Exactly. You get that little butter, Pat. Use it, dude.
Yeah, I mean, look, man, I'm all about protocol and all that, but kiss my ass.
I'm usually rip them in half and then butter one half, butter the other.
Okay.
Right there with you, man.
Okay. Yeah, you're all right with that. Proper napkin etiquette. Does anybody here tuck it into their neck?
No.
In your collar?
In a fancy restaurant, it's folded across both of your legs.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
no,
Even when I eat ribs, when I should, tuck it into my shirt, wrap it around my head, and put it on both of my hands.
My mom was a general on this stuff. I mean, it was nonstop. Every time I ate, I was like, Mom, can I just eat? She's like, you can't eat with your fork overhand.
Mm-hmm.
All these different things.
Oh, my God.
So that's why I don't do any of this stuff.
I think it's kind of a country thing.
Oh, yeah? To tuck
it in.
For me, it was always on all the cartoons. Like, Tom and Jerry, when they just sat up to the table, they'd stuff it in.
To me, it's a Southern thing.
That's not a
Boss Hog did it.
Boss Hog.
Yeah, but think about the food that they eat in the South.
Right, very drippy.
It makes sense.
I'm trying to, like...
And that wasn't etiquette. It's to protect your clothes because you're eating this buttery, drippy,
right,
saucy.
Right, he's wearing a white shirt. Like, I don't know if I'd do it with Dungeness crab, but like Maryland blue crabs, that's probably the only time I'd wear a bib.
Sure. And
that's messy.
And they do mention, like, the crab and lobster bib. If that's your thing, fine.
And
Not
they give them to you.
Right. If you're like me and you like salt on anything, what's the rule, Ted?
Use that little spoon and put salt on stuff?
No, the rule is you gotta taste the food before you salt it.
Exactly. Sure. But I mean, I think that's just a rule in general.
Food. That's not a fancy thing. You fancy people don't own that.
There's a guy, I can't remember his name. He's on Instagram or something, and he's kind of a country guy. And that's his thing. Like, he always puts the napkin in there. The wife always makes him food. And he just cuts it all up, and she's always like, you should taste it first. He's always like, I've tasted your food. And just add salt.
Damn. The thing is that if I
it's pretty good. I don't think he's really that mean or salty in real life, but the content's good.
The thing is that with the salt, if that's a thing for you, you're not happy either way, because either A, I salted before I tasted, in which case you need to taste the food before you salt it. And if that's also your case, if I taste your food and then salt it,
I'm insulted, right?
There you go. Because now my food doesn't taste good for you.
And I mean, some things, I don't know. Like if I have if I'm eating mashed potatoes with a steak, like I'll try
going in, brother.
But the salt's
going in. Come on.
This is gonna happen, but I'll see how they taste baseline.
Here's one forkful for you, and then the salt for me.
Anybody sat next to the guy at the table that they get their food, you're still sitting there with empty table, and then they just start digging in.
Yeah.
Against the rules. Don't do it, guys. You got to wait for everybody to be served before you start eating.
To me, that's not so much about the fancy restaurant. It's just the way I was raised.
Right.
And I don't
just wait till everybody
I don't
gets
know
their
if
food.
it's important, but I would say, depending what city you are in, they will deliver all of your hot entrees at the same time, because that's, in addition to cooking your food, that's part of the cook's duty. Some cities, it's not necessarily important. So here's your food, sir. You have another 5 minutes.
Right.
I'm not going to ask you to wait for me because they can't figure out how to do it.
Or if somebody at the table says, go ahead.
Oh, I'm in.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if we're all sitting there, right, and it's like for whatever reason, Thrills is just taking a while. He might say, all right, go ahead.
Right,
we know what's taking a while.
Not his.
Don't send it back, dude.
It's already showing up.
I know. You should add some salt.
It shows up with it.
What never to do at a fancy restaurant? Sending the wine back just because you don't like it. They basically say if there's something wrong with it, they will replace it.
Well, then why give me the cork and let me try it? Isn't that the point?
Try
what you're talking about.
I know, but I'm just saying, if I try it and go, I don't like it.
But you're right. Trying it is one thing, but then if you buy the bottle before you try it, to be honest with you, you just buy the bottle, they pour it for you, and then you start drinking like, I don't like this. You bought the bottle.
But in fancy restaurants, that's why they give you the swish first.
Right.
You know, honest to God, because if you're like, isn't what I'm looking for, I want something, whatever you're going to say, they'll take it back and give you something else. But yeah, if you're like, fine, then, I didn't like this. They're like, we're sorry, but you owe us $800.
All you hostesses out there, I'm sure that you absolutely hate this. When people walk into the restaurant, see that sign, please wait to be seated, and decide, dude, there's an open table right here. There's a system.
There is.
There is a system, and it might seem ridiculous to you.
That's right.
And we understand it seems ridiculous to you, and we're prepared to deal with the repercussions of that. And there's a guaranteed explanation, and it makes a lot of sense. Don't do that.
Right.
It's very rare you see this, but also once in a while we'll say even for the bar. And you
that
still
is
gotta
rare.
It's
Believe
rare,
them.
but it's probably because they're understaffed.
Right. Believe them. Here, the reason they do that, believe it or not, is because they want you to have a good experience.
Right.
They'd rather you wait 10 or 15 minutes than sit down immediately. But would you rather wait 10 or 15 minutes because I said we have a 10 or 15 minute wait, or would you rather be seated and it's 10 or 15 minutes before you get water in your glass?
Right.
Yeah, and honestly, like we're talking about nice restaurants. I know restaurants that are open seating in the bar, but I'll still stop by the host table and say, I'm just going to the bar. Is that okay?
Right.
I ask every time.
And I don't care how complicated or simple your job is. There are minutia to your job that really only you understand that the outside influence doesn't get unless they're in it. Same with restaurants. You don't get how it works. That's okay. There's a reason why they do it that way.
No one's out to make you miserable.
Correct.
They want your money.
But then the number one thing to never do at a fancy restaurant, and I am always nervous of this.
Sit without pants on.
Yes, dressing inappropriately.
Okay, see, that figures into it.
It does figure into it. I never know if I'm walking into a place that's like, oh, we don't allow denim. Damn it.
Wow. The good news is we live in the area that cares the least about that at any other city in the United States.
But the flip side of that is if you leave from here and go like somewhere on the East Coast,
you're screwed.
It's a different animal. It doesn't mean whether it's right or wrong. That means nothing. But it's just what the expectation is.
Right.
Because they won't let you in.
A man in Russia had a crazy idea to make up with his wife there, Miles.
What was that?
I'll tell you all about it at 5:50.
Thank you, sir. Headlines are coming up at 5:50. In the meantime, let's get a contestant on the line for Profile This at 206-803-ROCK. Have we made it to drinking time?
My 13-year-old acts like a puppy again. Almost overnight, she's a different dog.
Perfect poops.
When people switch their dog's food to the farmer's dog, the effects can seem like magic. But there's no magic involved. It's simply real meat and vegetables with all the nutrients dogs need, instead of highly processed pellets. No tricks, just smarter, healthier pet food delivered in packs portioned for your dog. It's amazing what real food can do. Get 50% off your first order at thefarmersdog.com/no-magic.
Listening to your favorite podcast? That's smart. Earning your degree online from Southern New Hampshire University? That's really smart. With 24/7 access to coursework, no set class times, and dedicated student support, you can go to school when and where it works for you. Low online tuition means you can even do it for less. And dedicated student support means we'll be with you from day one to graduation and beyond. Join a community of learners just like you. Go to snhu.edu today to start your free application.
From executive producer Jimmy Kimmel.
What's up, team? Just two people can't launch a brand. It takes a village.
We are MMD Hollywood.
Wowee.
Which stands for medical marijuana.
Due to restrictions, we can't tell you everything about our new reality series. But what we can say is the idea behind it is fully baked. High Hopes. Streaming 4/20 on Hulu.
This is a promotional message for Alexia Sweet Potato Fries, and in the process of elucidating you on all the wondrous virtues Alexia Sweet Potato Fries have to offer, I intend to do so in a prodigious manner befitting of such a superlative side. That's because all Alexia creations are creatively crafted, from sweet potato fries that accomplish a delicate balance of sweet and savory, without GMOs or superfluous additives, to the eloquent lexicon of our advertisements, like this one, because every Alexia experience is intended to feel creatively crafted and exceptional without exception. Alexia's Sweet Potato Fries. Do procure them in your grocer's freezer.
My 13-year-old acts like a puppy again. Almost overnight, she's a different dog.
Perfect poops.
When people switch their dog's food to the farmer's dog, the effects can seem like magic. But there's no magic involved. It's simply real meat and vegetables with all the nutrients dogs need, instead of highly processed pellets. No tricks, just smarter, healthier pet food delivered in packs portioned for your dog. It's amazing what real food can do. Get 50% off your first order at thefarmersdog.com/no-magic.
From executive producer Jimmy Kimmel.
What's up, team? Just two people can't launch a brand. It takes a village.
We are MMD Hollywood.
Wowee.
Which stands for medical marijuana.
Due to restrictions, we can't tell you everything about our new reality series. But what we can say is the idea behind it is fully baked. High Hopes. Streaming 4/20 on Hulu.
Listening to your favorite podcast? That's smart. Earning your degree online from Southern New Hampshire University? That's really smart. With 24/7 access to coursework, no set class times, and dedicated student support, you can go to school when and where it works for you. Low online tuition means you can even do it for less. And dedicated student support means we'll be with you from day one to graduation and beyond. Join a community of learners just like you. Go to snhu.edu today to start your free application.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith from the Men's Room. And did you know I have a podcast? Well, I do. The Podcast. New episodes uploaded every Wednesday on the Odyssey app.
Somebody out there deserves to be recognized. And the Men's Room knows just who it is. So to you, we say, Bottoms up, sailor. You're the toast of our shot of the day.
Drink time it is. As usual, we head to the drink desk and Steve at Thrill Hill to find out who we're toasting.
Gotcha, buddy.
Today we toast our local Seattle news affiliates, and that's everyone from Cairo to Como to King to Fox. You might remember about a week or so ago, their in-depth coverage of the death of Buttercup. That would be a horse at a local pasture, and they all reported, as it was portrayed, some psychopath fired a single kill shot from the roadway, hitting Buttercup between the eyes and felling this beloved horse of 15 years, okay? So the idea, there's a pasture, there is a wooded hill between this pasture and a highway above, and they realized that someone stopped the car, got out of the car with a high-powered rifle, fired a bullet between this horse's eyes, and dropped it for no particular reason at all. Like I said, they hit the horse in the eyes and ended up taking the horse down. It's a sad story. To be honest with you, man, the local news treated it like the assassination of JFK or 9/11. Yeah, I mean, it was their top story. We have some of the audio from some of the things that went on back
Monday
in the
morning, Buttercup, the mini horse, was found motionless in this Maple Valley pasture.
But I assumed it was colic or some other thing that might have happened. I went down there and she has a hole in her head.
The senseless killing has destroyed a special bond. Buttercup has been the lifelong companion and guide for her blind sister, Peanut.
They've been together virtually their entire lives. Peanut's blind in one eye, so she really looked to Buttercup for guidance.
Buttercup's owner believed whoever's responsible knew just what they were doing.
That's just part of the reporting. Like I said, all the four major affiliates here that reported on it. And since then, police, they actually investigated to find a culprit. And part of the reason they did, believe it or not, 2 weeks before that, a similar thing had happened to a different horse. Now, the good news is they did take Buttercup to the coroner, and the coroner, they did a thorough report, and they helped identify the potential suspect. Yeah, it was another horse in the same pasture kicked Buttercup in the head. That's why Buttercup dropped.
Damn.
We're not saying
like
that
a full-size horse.
Yeah, and we're not saying it's not sad. When I'm saying all of the local affiliates, again, the top news story, 2.5 minutes per dedicated to this. There's a psychopath out there. No. Another horse in the same pasture kicked her in the head and dropped her.
Probably
ass.
kicked the other horse, too.
Yeah, and like they said, blunt force trauma, and they said the dent in her skull was the shape of a horseshoe. So before you guys get so excited to come up with some horrible person out there, you can now do your news story on that horrible psychopath horse that shared a space with Buttercup. We just hope it wasn't Peanut, her one-eyed friend. Good Lord, guys.
It's also the name of the horse in Half-Baked.
You're right. No, he's not wrong.
Buttercup. Butterstuffs.
So, if you saw any of those newscasts, good news, it was another horse.
Yeah.
So we pour this booze and we drink this booze because we think it's yummy.
Yummy!
So over the tongue and down the throat to party in our tummies.
Down the hola, bichola!
The Men's Room presents Profile This.
And Stephen Thrill Hill can please tell everyone how Profile This is played.
Sure can, Miles. It's a simple game where we share with you a real-life news story, something that happened right here on planet Earth. Earth. And as you listen to the story, based on the stereotypes you believe to be true of people and the decisions that people make, we'll ask you what it is you think makes the story a story. You three gentlemen will be competing against one another. And today, Ted, good news. Your categories include drugs.
All right.
We also have interior decorating, where you guess the foreign object that ended up on the inside of someone. And finally, hit me with your best shot, where you guess the unconventional weapon that someone chose to use as a weapon.
All right, Ted picked yesterday or the other day. Mike, you got a call? There we go.
The violent Mike.
Yes.
Here is your story. Hailey Bieber's sister. That would be Alana Baldwin, or I don't care what her name is. Anyway, she was arrested over what cops claim was a wild brawl at a bar. Now, she was busted Saturday night in Savannah, Georgia, after the owner of the bar, called Club Elon, he called 911 to report an unruly patron who he claimed was attacking his staff and refusing to leave the establishment. As it turns out, that person was, in fact, Hailey Bieber's sister. Now, according to the police report, when officers arrived, they met with two different bouncers and one of the bartenders there, all of whom had a similar story. They told the cops that she had gone into the employees' only bathroom, which she was told she couldn't be in there, and she had to use the public restroom. Well, she started becoming belligerent and combative. Then she's now accused of assaulting the 3 staffers. One security guard claims that she yanked hair out of his head when he attempted to wrangle her. And another guard says she kicked him in the groin when he tried to do the same thing. Meanwhile, a female bartender told cops she went into the employee bathroom herself at one point, trying to show discretion, and claims that she was told that she needed a minute to throw up. So the staffer says, okay, she waited outside. But when she re-entered again to check on her, she claims that she threw something at her. Eventually, the security personnel says they were able to get a hold of her and get her out of the building. And a responding officer says when he asked her about all this, she claimed she was simply defending herself and that the whole thing blown out of proportion. Well, in the end, she was arrested on a number of charges, getting booked for simple assault, simple battery, battery and trespassing. She also posed for a mugshot at the jail because that's how you roll when you're rich. So the question is, what did she throw at the female employee who confronted her in the bathroom? Did she throw used toilet paper? Did she throw a tampon? Did she throw a handful of toilet water? Or did she throw the trash can? So used toilet paper, a tampon, a handful of toilet water, or a trash can. What did she throw at the female employee?
She threw it at her.
So the female employee is the one who could go into the bathroom because it's another woman in the bathroom. Just say, hey, like seriously, do what you got to do. I got to throw up. Too much time went by. When she went back in to check on her, Bieber's sister lost her mind and threw something at her.
Ted, I'll go trash can.
I'm going to go tampon.
Tampon for Ted.
I'm going to go with the toilet water.
And I'm going to go when she was doing cocaine.
Okay.
I would almost guarantee. What did you say, Miles? I'm sorry.
I did trash
water.
can. Mike
Trash.
did toilet water. Ted did tampon. And we'll find out what she did throw. Used toilet paper, tampon, toilet water, or trash can next.
That was a tease.
My 13-year-old acts like a puppy again. Almost overnight, she's a different dog.
Perfect poops.
When people switch their dog's food to the farmer's dog, the effects can seem like magic. But there's no magic involved. It's simply real meat and vegetables with all the nutrients dogs need, instead of highly processed pellets. No tricks, just smarter, healthier pet food delivered in packs portioned for your dog. It's amazing what real food can do. Get 50% off your first order at thefarmersdog.com/no magic.
From executive producer Jimmy Kimmel.
What's up, team? Just 2 people can't launch a brand. It takes a village.
We are MMD Hollywood.
Wow,
which stands for medical marijuana.
Due to restrictions, we can't tell you everything about our new reality series. But what we can say is the idea behind it is fully baked. High Hopes. Streaming 4/20 on Hulu.
Listening to your favorite podcast? That's smart. Earning your degree online from Southern New Hampshire University? That's really smart. With 24/7 access to coursework, no set class times, and dedicated student support, you can go to school when and where it works for you. Low online tuition means you can even do it for less. And dedicated student support means we'll be with you from day one to graduation and beyond. Join a community of learners just like you. Go to snhu.edu today to start your free application.
Inside every California avocado is a story. It's shaped by idyllic conditions, full of rich soil, gentle rain, and friendly California sunshine, where avocados flourish. Crafted with care by dedicated local farmers who are committed to responsible, sustainable growing. The best avocados have California in them. To understand why, all you have to do is open one up. In season now. Visit CaliforniaAvocado.com to learn more.
99.9 KISW. We return to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Category Send Me With Your Best Shot on Profile. Let's get a woman who was, famous by association. Arrested after an argument at a bar. She was in the bathroom. A female employee went in there and said, hey, what's going on, man? Can I help you? A bunch of people went in there. So the woman got upset and she threw something at the female employee. Was it a wad of used toilet paper, a tampon, toilet water, or a trash can?
And that is the very question that I posed to you fine folks. Miles, you went hardcore, went the straight-up trash can.
Yep. I figure if you're going to get arrested, you threw something hard and heavy.
I very much agree with that philosophy. However, she did not. Ted, sorry, Mike, I like where your mind was at with the dirty toilet water.
Ted wins.
I'm drunk, take a handful of that and just splash it in her face. It was not that. B. Ted Smith, you went with the tampon. Used
Dirty
or
tampon.
not, we don't know. Okay, dirty tampon.
Dirty.
We'll play that because why the hell not? Yeah, you are correct. Threw a tampon at her. Again, because all she said, and the two bouncers were physically trying to remove her. I understand you might fight back when you're drunk. The female employee just simply said, hey, you've been in here a while. You can't be here. And got hit in the face with a tampon. Good time.
That is gross.
That is ridiculous.
Now for all TV news all the time, and it's time for TV Time with Ted.
And now, because your pathetic life is confined to countless hours in front of a talking box, the Men's Room presents TV Time with Ted.
All right, your choices today. You got Stephen Colbert.
Okay.
The Jimmys.
Fallon and Kimmel.
Seth Meyers. Taylor Tomlinson.
All right.
Or Ted Smith.
Is it Ted or is it late night?
It is right that a titleized guys have teams of talented writers help them come up with their monologues each and every night. It is up to you to determine, is this an actual late night joke and from whom, or could it be a The Ted Smith original?
Man in Wisconsin recently extended his Guinness World Record by eating 728 Big Macs last year. And the record was for being the healthiest man in Wisconsin.
Myers.
Ted Smith.
That's Seth.
A man in Wisconsin recently extended his Guinness World Record after he ate 728 McDonald's Big Macs in 2023. The record was for healthiest man in Wisconsin.
I thought it was you because you went to Wisconsin, so you know the food there.
Yeah. That is a drinking state.
They live up to the reputation.
That's awesome. A man who was in a Las Vegas hotel room claims that during the night, while he was sleeping, a scorpion stung his testicles. And it's almost hard to believe, but The Rock really is everywhere these days.
Said Smith.
Yeah, I'll say you did.
Yeah, that's me.
Scorpion King.
Scorpion King. Call back.
Oh, I got you.
He was in that.
That was his first movie, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Yeah. Or
Right, he showed up in like the second version of The Mummy as the Scorpion King, and then got the Scorpion King.
Yeah.
A man staying at a hotel in Vegas says a scorpion stung his testicles while he was asleep in his room. His wife said, I'll buy the scorpion story, but how did you get crabs?
Seth?
Kimmel.
Fallon.
A man staying at a hotel in Las Vegas claims that while he was asleep in his room, a scorpion stung his testicles. His wife was like, all right, I'll buy the scorpion story, but how did you get crabs?
The exercise equipment company Bowflex has filed for bankruptcy. I'm shocked because I thought Bowflex went out of business 2 decades ago.
I hope that's you, Ted, but I'll go Fallon.
I'm going to say Myers.
That's Fallon.
The exercise equipment company Bowflex has filed for bankruptcy. I'm shocked because I thought Bowflex went out of business 2 decades ago.
According to a new study, skipping your dog's walk is a bigger deal than you think. These findings come from scientist Dr. Scruffle's Tea Belly Rub. You might remember him from his other landmark study. There's a squirrel outside in the window, and someone needs to kill it.
Colbert?
That's Colbert.
According to a new study, skipping your dog's walk is a bigger deal than you think. Those findings from the renowned scientist, Dr. Scruffle's Tea Belly Rub. You may remember him from his other landmark study. There's a squirrel outside the window and someone needs to kill it.
That would have me laughing pretty good today. I also love, Mike and I, for years, would look at these memes. And just anytime, it's like a dog holding a phone, like, hello, this is dog. Or just a dog behind a desk. Look, I know that dog's not working, but it's pretty funny.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
My Instagram is full of animals dressed as cowboys now. I'm going to a wedding in Austin. I clicked on one and told my friend, I said, you got to invite this cat. All right. Jesus, what am I doing here? Sorry, I got my stuff all mixed up. Oh, here it is. All right. So back in 2014 at the Oscars, they had this famous selfie, which I still am not positive is a selfie. Did Ellen take it?
Yes.
She did.
Well, she's in the front of it, right? So I'm assuming
but
she
did she
did.
take it? I don't know. But I remember the moment, more or less. It was like a big deal the next day. It was everywhere. She did not take it.
No, that was a Bradley Cooper selfie.
All right, so Bradley Cooper took it. Okay. So basically, it's been 10 years, and basically, they're kind of saying, like, is that selfie from then cursed?
Why do they say that?
You're number one. You have Ellen DeGeneres.
All right.
She was called out in 2020 article for having a toxic work environment on her show. The allegations only grew from there, and she ended the show in 2022.
Okay, hang on. I'm looking who else. Bradley Cooper.
Kevin Spacey.
Kevin Spacey.
Number 2 on the list, Kevin Spacey. Where do we start on this one? He was fired from House of Cards in 2017 due to sexual assault allegations. He has never been convicted of anything, but his career still hasn't recovered.
That was a good show, too.
All right, hang
screw
on.
it up.
House of Cards. And Kevin Spacey, I want to say, but I think he settled some out of court with some NDAs.
I believe so, yeah.
Which tells you a lot, but it is what it is. I'm going to guess. So there's Jennifer Lawrence, Meryl Streep, Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. They were still together in that photo, but they filed for divorce in 2016. It got ugly, and it's still pretty ugly.
Yep. I don't know who that dude is.
Well, I've never someone said, I had a great divorce. Everything went fine.
Is anyone else?
There's no issues.
I did have a buddy whose parents divorced very amicably. It was a very good thing.
Yeah, but they, as friends, but not monetarily speaking.
Right.
No, it was honestly it was pretty clean.
Okay.
It was pretty clean.
That's nice to hear.
Anyone else cursed on this picture? I'm looking at it now.
Meryl Streep. Last year was revealed that she had separated from her husband, Don Gummer, in 2017 after almost 40 years together.
Nothing wrong with a Gummer.
Yeah.
You want to hear some hot goss?
What's your hot goss?
Hot goss.
That Meryl Streep is now dating Martin Short.
Wait. I'm not saying it's impossible. I can't wrap my head around that one.
Yeah, they're working on a project together, but they've been seen out in public.
That's a power duo. I could see that together.
Yeah,
Meryl Streep and Martin Short.
You bet. Now they're not boogieing in the sheets over here, but to be honest with you, the two of them together, I think that's a good dynamic.
Ed Grimsley.
Okay.
I must say.
Yeah.
I mean, look, Snoop Dogg and Martha Stewart are tight, right? I mean, they're not romantically involved, but I mean,
come on. I don't know this, but I'm feeling Snoop knows her.
You think?
Yes.
Man, I feel like Martha, because Martha's pretty open about, like, yes, I don't mind getting laid. Or Snoop, he's been with his wife forever. I think he's like, nah, I could hit that. I feel like Snoop would be like, as an official statement, I could tap that ass, but I haven't.
Yeah, I think maybe Martha Stewart crosses over the line of whatever his agreement is.
Yes.
I ain't saying we don't both been with her.
Let's see. Bradley Cooper. This one isn't bad. He was nominated for Oscar that night. He didn't win, but he's lost 7 more Oscars since then. He also lost one in 2013. He's nominated for 3 this year, so we'll see.
Good. That man needs to be brought down a peg.
If he gets shut out this year, he'll be 0 for 12.
So he went
0 for 11 since the selfie.
So Silver Linings Playbook was before that. He won for that, right?
No, he didn't.
Again, if he gets shut out this year, he'll be 0 for 12.
Okay.
0 for 11 since the selfie.
So he's never won one.
Nope.
Never won.
Okay.
I think, Jennifer Lawrence might have won
She
one.
did, yeah. She won that.
That was it.
Let's see. Jared Leto's in that picture. He actually won
His
an Oscar.
movies.
He won an Oscar that year for Dallas Fire Club. But since then, he's most universally hated. Joker and Suicide Squad.
Oh, yeah.
He appeared in House of Gucci, Haunted Mansion. I didn't see House of Gucci.
Neither did I. He's also just a weirdo.
I didn't see House of Gucci, but the movie just failed.
Because he was also the guy that went off and didn't know that the pandemic was happening for the first 2 years or something like that.
Yeah, it wasn't that long. It was a couple months or something.
right.
Where is everybody, man?
I'm on
I don't
a
know.
cliff,
He thinks of himself as a spiritual leader and this and that.
Right.
Oh, my God.
That's where he was out on some deserted island with a bunch of people.
Right.
So was Tom Hanks in Castaway, not a religious leader.
Well, you remember.
So was Gilligan.
You remember all the movies Gandhi was in.
Gandhi?
Yeah, of course. Most spiritual leaders have a
Yes.
film career.
That is mainly what you do to influence people. Thank you, Ted. I walked right into
Joel Osteen, all of them.
Harold and Kumar hang out with Gandhi.
That's believable. Because Gandhi was cool.
I will say, and I've said this before, it's funny. I watched that movie Gandhi when I was in grade school. And I mean, it took me years to realize Ben Kingsley is just a good actor.
He is not Gandhi.
Because to me, he was Gandhi. I didn't know. I didn't know a ton about Gandhi before I had watched that movie. I don't know, what's that, 6th grade or whatever? But it's like, oh man, what's Gandhi doing?
Batman and Gandhi. Now it's a typecasting.
Batman and Gandhi.
Turns out Ben Kingsley again, just a really good actor.
Good actor. That's who you want for the parts. Jaws 3, Gandhi.
Julia Roberts. I don't know if this is by choice, but her filmography since 2014 has been a little underwhelming.
Yeah.
She did play Smurf Willow in Smurfs: The Lost Village.
How did that resurrect her career?
It didn't. That's the point.
I know.
But the remaining people in the selfie, like Jennifer Lawrence, good to go.
Doing great.
Yeah.
Channing Tatum, he's fine.
Yep.
Lupita is on there, and she's been
Lupita's good. Her brother Peter, like they're good. So it's not, the whole photo isn't cursed. But I mean, I'm not into a ton of like crazy conspiracy theories, but I'm pretty sure you could take a photo with a bunch of Hollywood celebrities any year, and eventually some of them are going to get called out for something. Now, with that said, I think you could take a picture of a lot of places. I mean, look, you might be driving home. Well, probably not. It's late. You might be driving home from your job site. I bet you could take a picture of your job site 10 years from now. Some of those fellas and women have not been up to the best
Thank you. 10 years ago, from just people you know in a group photo.
Oh, yeah.
You can pick them apart. A decade's a long time. You can say, oh, they got a divorce.
But I think part of the difference is with a lot of them is the accusations against them stem back farther than the photo itself.
Correct. Like Ellen,
they were dirty before.
But Ellen also, that wasn't a very good kept secret, right? And that's always my issue with people like her. It's like her whole brand was like, hey, I'm super nice and your buddy. It's like, you're not, right? Like she's also very funny, a good interview.
She is.
But there had been rumors out there that she wasn't that awesome, but she was a powerful person, right? And you know, that people are scared to speak out because they don't want to, get shut out of Hollywood.
Did you guys hear the conspiracy that 9/11 was actually the beginning of the end for Ellen DeGeneres?
9/11.
Yeah, so what happened on 9/11, there was a guy out on a barge that witnessed the whole tragedy happen, and it moved him so much to where he started writing music and starting a band by the name of My Chemical Romance. That music led to a young author and inspired her to write a brand new story. Her name is Stephanie Myers, and she wrote the Twilight series, which would then spawn fan fiction, which one of which was adapted into a book series of its own and movie series, which was 50 Shades of Grey, starring Dakota Johnson,
right?
Who then went on to Ellen's show, and she was like the first one to speak out, like, "Oh wait, no, you were invited to that last party. You just straight up didn't show up." So that was kind of like the first sign that Ellen was not as nice as she showed up to be. So yeah.
I vaguely remember, Dakota Johnson being the person.
That was a long way to get there.
It was, and it keeps going too. It keeps going down.
Kevin Bacon's involved.
Well, it's like I always say, birds aren't real, leprechauns are.
Yes.
Damn. I don't say that, but I'm gonna start saying that. Plus, we're coming up on St. Patrick's Day.
They're in Birmingham, Alabama.
I'm going to float that one out there.
You should say there was one leprechaun left. There were so few, that's why it was hard to believe they were real. And we had a caller today that drove through the rainbow, killed the last leprechaun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. She aimed for him.
Buy Lucky Charms when you can.
God. Let's stick with fun news. There's been a lot of talk about trouble on the set of Queer Eye. Well, a new report from Rolling Stone says Jonathan Van Ness causes a lot of trouble because he's got rage issues. They said there's a real emotion of fear around them when they get angry. It's almost like a cartoon that oozes out of him. It's intense and scary. He's a yeller. Van Ness is a yeller and gets into screaming matches with someone at least once a week. That includes crew and fellow cast members. Must be fun. Another source says that none of the cast members are close. Quote, how is it not obvious to anyone that none of the people are friends? None of them. They don't hang out socially. They live very different lives. Yeah. Well, most people don't know. They just watch the show.
I'm glad you brought that up because one of the things I've known for years, the reason they called that movie Old Yeller, dog was an a-hole.
Yeah,
they were going to call it something entirely different, but he just wouldn't shut up on set.
If you're shooting the tunnels, you realize they're all related. They have conflict. When you bring all these people together who don't know each other, I would still expect conflict.
The tunnels don't speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, their whole thing just fell apart.
They're not talking. Thank you, Ted. We appreciate it. You're listening to The Men's Room.
Look around. You can find cars like these on AutoTrader. New cars, used cars, electric cars, maybe even flying cars. Okay, no flying cars, but as soon as they get invented, they'll be on AutoTrader. Just you wait. AutoTrader.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
At Metro, get an iPhone 12 with 5G and a dual camera system for $99.99. Take amazing pictures and share them instantly. And don't put up with life's yada yada.
Yada yada.
Like photo bombers. Zoom, crop out,
yada yada.
And bye.
You don't take yada yada in life, don't take yada yada from your wireless provider. Get iPhone 12 with 5G with no activation fees and nada yada yada. Only at Metro by T-Mobile. Switch to Metro, bring your ID. This offer isn't available for customers currently at T-Mobile or that have been with Metro in the past 180 days.
Intercom's AI-first customer service platform answers 50% of questions in seconds. That means happier customers. And Fin AI Copilot, our new personal AI assistant for every support agent, means more efficient teams. It's a win-win. The platform also provides insights for managers, and it's simple to set up and use. That makes Intercom a win-win, win-win-win. Intercom, AI-first customer service.
The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill. Now, let's see what's happening in the real world.
All right, here we go. Russian gets drunk and rides a horse up 5 floors because he made his wife mad. Meanwhile, a cheesemaker pleads guilty to a listeria outbreak that made some tummies feel bad.
That's what I heard, Mike.
Police in Bellingham have a beaver that kept blocking the road. A woman tries to see if her car could drive in amphibian mode. And a woman smokes weed, takes off her clothes. Then, of course, goes to the library. It's time for your headlines.
Now, it's time to hit the headlines. Here's Mike Hawk.
The thin line between that and golf.
Yes, there is.
All right, our top story.
The
thin line. We go to Russia, where a romantic needs to reassess how he goes about the makeup process, as it were. He'd gotten into an argument with his wife and was at the point that he wanted to make amends and move beyond the arguing to get back to living their life together. But this would require a gesture, Ted. This was a big argument. He needed to go big here.
All right.
In an effort to go all out, the man went to his place of work at 3 a.m. because all grand gestures need to happen early in the morning. They're delirious at that age, so it's easier to do.
Easier to impress.
And stole a small horse from the farm that employed him, taking the animal back to his apartment. Yep, this went about as well as you'd expect. The horse left a pile behind at the building entrance. It wouldn't cooperate with getting into the elevator, causing the man to take the animal up 5 flights of stairs so that he could ride it in like Prince Charming. After the calamity settled, the horse was safely returned home. They didn't actually say if it worked.
It didn't.
Right.
She basically posted a video and said, "There's a horse in my apartment."
Right.
That was her whole thing. It didn't seem like this will lead to divorce, but it's one of those moments where I believe she's kind of shaking her head and there's no smile on her face going, "This is what I married."
Exactly. And look, I get it. Horses are very cute. They're pretty little animals that every girl wants, right? But you ever been with a horse that's inside of a building?
And was this a full size or a mini?
This was a
Kind of a
full size
mini.
horse.
Right.
I thought it was full size.
You're right. It's not a mini, but it's
not huge.
Not the
but
biggest
it ain't
horse that he
many.
could have gotten. Right.
But it pooped all over the.
It was almost a mule.
Yeah, kind of.
Hey,
mules are big.
They can be.
They're
wide.
swole. They're swole. Yeah.
I like mules, by the way.
Yeah.
Strong.
You know I do.
They're good.
But, yeah, it's got the size of the horse and then the work ethic of the donkey.
Exactly. Stout.
I'm dead serious. I'm big on mules.
Oh, yeah, dude. He couldn't get on top of this thing, though. So it was that big to where he was also hammered, so he couldn't get on top.
Yeah, he was real messed up, which is probably what stemmed the argument in the first place.
I'm going to get her a horse.
What did he say? He wanted to be her knight on the white horse kind of thing or whatever.
And it was a white horse.
He did specifically. He put
If
some
you
thought
wanna
into
ride,
this. He just didn't think it all the way through.
Ride the white
in
pony.
the Naval Academy, they have a goat, right? That's their mascot.
All right.
And then they have a mascot named Bill the Goat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So at West Point, the mule is their mascot, but I don't know if they have like a Marty the Mule. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Mick. Hey, I'm Mike the Mule.
Mike the Mule. Yeah, that's been my nickname at the airport for a while.
Mike's old.
Baby.
In other news, to Indiana, where a local library was the place to be, police got a report that a woman was wandering about the library and interacting with patrons while completely naked.
Well, at least she wasn't masturbating like everyone here at our library.
I saw her picture, and she's not gorgeous. But one thing about the story is they say she ended up talking to a male that was there who was doing something. He took his anatomy, but he didn't call the cops.
Correct.
I'm just saying.
Right. One witness said that the woman sauntered over to him while he was reading a book about anatomy, which she promptly took from him and headed over to a computer. After doing a little research of her own, she returned the book, so that's probably why the cops weren't called. She gave him the book back, and she went on her way. Police arrived to find her still nude, sitting on a bench with a vape pen, where she admitted that she was just smoking weed and walking naked through the library. And now she's facing charges.
Sister, I smoked a lot of weed. I don't feel the need to get naked in public.
Correct. But wouldn't you wanna?
Yeah,
if you are high, doesn't it sound good to just walk around the library naked?
It sounds good now sober. I just know I shouldn't.
Yeah, remember McConaughey famously got arrested once in Austin because he was naked playing bongos in his house and just was late and it was too loud.
Oh.
So years later, he's at University of Texas. Weed is not legal down there. And somebody asked him, like, what do you regret from that? Or what did you learn? He's like, put on clothes when the cops knock?
Right.
Yeah. He didn't mention the bongos before he had the weed.
I was in my zone, man. I was doing fine.
Yeah, and from that guy, you expect him to be naked playing bongos.
Exactly. Damn. We take to the lovely world of the internet where a precarious situation has gone viral. A woman in Wales who works as a cleaner at a local convenience store was waiting outside the building for the facility to open so she could go inside and do her job, leaning up against the security shutters while she waited. This is something to note here. The video shows the CCTV footage of the moment that the shutters began to open, unfortunately snagging her jacket as they rose up. Obviously, on the strong side, the shutters proceeded to lift the woman off the ground, leaving her hanging upside down by her jacket. She hollered for help until staff inside could hear her, and they were able to get her back down without further incident.
By the way, she's 73.
Right. Did you see that video?
I did. I watched it this morning.
I didn't think that they made machines that strong enough to pull her up.
They do.
They do indeed. That was and she kept holding on to her bag, too. She's sitting there floating, and she's hanging onto the bag and saying, girl, let go.
That's where her money is. That's what that tells me. That's where your money is. You hold on to that.
Ah, God. Absolutely. And just in case those stories left a bad taste in your mouth,
thankfully, there's good news.
We go to Maryland, where a man had a car breakdown turn into some good news. He's actually a regular player of the lottery and had already bought himself a Powerball ticket, which left him in his, which he left in his truck until it came time for the drawing. It's kind of a religious thing, not religious, but it's a ritualistic thing for him. It's
sure
what he normally does, right? He watches the drawing, but unfortunately, he needed to take the truck into the shop to be serviced, and it was kept long enough that he didn't have his ticket when they pulled the numbers. He left it in there, forgot it in there, or he didn't think it would take that long, and now he didn't have his numbers. Not wanting to see the drawing without a ticket in hand, he went and bought himself another ticket using the quick pick number option, and luckily for him, those landed 4 of the numbers on the Powerball, earning him a $150,000 check.
Wow, good for you.
Miles, are you still playing every day, buddy?
Yeah.
Have you won anything beyond the what'd you win, like $100? Not
you won
$50
the other day. 75 last week.
Damn.
I normally don't put money in. I just play with my winnings.
Right.
Okay.
So I just
you
take
play
my
scratch offs, right?
Yes.
Not power.
So I can't really win the big one. I mean, not realistically.
I mean, you could. Like, they always put on there that you can win $5,000.
That's always somebody in the weirdest food mart you've never heard of in rural somewhere.
Like they're dispatched out.
I play it sometimes. I was telling somebody this weekend, they were like, is the jackpot that big? I go, nah. I'm just looking to get like 5 numbers right, get like 100 G's,
right,
200.
sure.
Just that'd be a nice cash, influx.
Exactly. You know what? Just to pad things up a little bit, help me out. I got it.
Something.
Bedroom sports. The Kraken were able to get it done last night, beating the Jets 4-3.
2 in a row.
There in Winnipeg. That's right, 2 in a row, and against Canada. Take that, Canada. They're taking a little break here before getting back to screw Canada. Before getting back to it on Friday here at home, and what do you know? They're hosting the Jets.
All right, Winnipeg, back-to-back.
Winnipeg, back-to-back. I like
Zach Wilson, man. He's going to get traded. I just know it.
Zach Wilson?
Yeah, New York
Quarterback?
Right.
New York Jets, man. Come on.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't get there. My bad. That's my bad. Mariners spring training continued this afternoon down at Surprise Stadium as they were hosted by the Royals, managing to squeak out an 8-7 victory against KC. Mariners pulling it out of here as well.
Boy, they look bad.
That's their second win of spring training. Which I get it. It's still preseason. They're all working on their own individual things.
This is the time to lose.
This is the time to lose. It doesn't count. And we're going to be okay.
I know NFL preseason records. I don't know that I know a ton about spring training records.
I don't, but Mike and I were talking earlier, going, man, just as a confidence as a player. All right, guys, none of that mattered. Like, it does not matter statistically, but we haven't won.
Ravens didn't lose a preseason game in like 4 or 5 years.
Look how many Super Bowls they have.
The Super Bowls.
Exactly.
Right. Who cares?
And again, I feel like they're working on specific things. They're working on this shift. They're working on this lineup.
Okay.
They're working
All right.
So they don't care about the score because they don't have to care about the score. It's not about the win. It's about what you build together. Tonight, you got college hoops over on the alternate ESPN channels, hockey on TNT and NBA basketball on ESPN. The Trailblazers are hosting the Thunder over on Root. As far as your weather, in and out of clouds all night into tomorrow with temperatures dipping down to freezing again tonight before warming up into the mid-40s tomorrow afternoon. And that is it for your headlines with that. Mike Hawk is out.
Thank you, sir. We'll see you next time for the head chef, Ted's Meat and Potatoes, and Big Dummy is back.
Yes, indeed, it's all true. In the meantime, well, we be all about this. Biatch. So until next time, please do what you do best. And for Aletha's sake, stay beautiful.
The Men's Room has been taped before a live studio audience. Wardrobe and makeup provided by Mantastic Limited. This has been a presentation of the Men's Room Radio Network. Oh, man! A Double Flush production.
My 13-year-old acts like a puppy again. Almost overnight, she's a different dog.
Perfect poops. When people switch their dog's food to the farmer's dog, the effects can seem like magic. But there's no magic involved. It's simply real meat and vegetables with all the nutrients dogs need, instead of highly processed pellets. No tricks, just smarter, healthier pet food delivered in packs portioned for your dog. It's amazing what real food can do. Get 50% off your first order at thefarmersdog.com/no-magic.
From executive producer Jimmy Kimmel.
What's up, team? Just two people can't launch a brand. It takes a village.
We are MMD Hollywood.
Wowee.
Which stands for medical marijuana.
Due to restrictions, we can't tell you everything about our new reality series. But what we can say is the idea behind it is fully baked.
I don't know.
High Hopes. Streaming 4/20 on Hulu.
Listening to your favorite podcast? That's smart. Earning your degree online from Southern New Hampshire University? That's really smart. With 24/7 access to coursework, no set class times, and dedicated student support, you can go to school when and where it works for you. Low online tuition means you can even do it for less. And dedicated student support means we'll be with you from day one to graduation and beyond. Join a community of learners just like you. Go to snhu.edu today to start your free application.